call this meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute. You gotta move. Rules. You gotta follow the rules. All rules. Right, Ellen?
Yes. Protocol.
Hold on, stand on.
Ready? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Eric Caucus.
Here.
Ms. Pasquio.
Here.
Ms. Kelly.
Here.
Mr. Farrell.
Here.
Mr. Lovenstein.
Here.
Mr. Shapiro.
Here.
Mr. Murray.
Here.
Mr. Long.
Here.
Mr. Bazemore.
Here.
And Ms. Straley.
Here.
Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act is given by the clerk in the following manner. 1, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 5th, 2024. And 2, emailed to the retrospective clerk posted January 5th, 2024. First items for tonight's meeting is the public hearings for ordinance 2418.
That's for next week, that's just letting you know.
Oh, this is just talking about it?
Yes, these are
Okay.
items for next week.
Items next week. So next week, we're going to be voting on the energy aggregate. That's where we've made the ordinance generic. And then if we find that it's beneficial to the residents. Did you have any questions, Ryan?
When we talk about
Okay. And then the manhole covers, which I believe is something to help out with these road projects. Whenever a road project gets done, the manhole covers get done. New business for discussion, code enforcement, housing inspector. Is anyone here from that? Was Brian going to be here tonight or
We'll be here next week.
next week? Are we appointing him or what's?
Not tonight.
Not tonight? Okay, that was cool. Your application, pending corrected application. Want to do this now? You want to come on up and we'll talk about this? So just so everyone knows, we did adopt an ordinance, and the ordinance, the main reason for the ordinance was to make sure that the property owners were supportive of it, that there wasn't anything that was considered anything out of line. I know that's very arbitrary, but it's a generalization. I will say, just to remind everyone, that the reason we do have this is because we do want the owners to have a vested interest in this bureau and a vested interest to maintain this mural. We've lost one of our first murals because I believe it was prior to our ordinance, prior to us really saying to the property owner, maybe you could elaborate just a little bit, but I don't believe the property owner, he was kind of, for some reason he didn't want it anymore, which I think was weird because I don't know how he didn't know it was on there for what, 5 years?
Yes.
Or 4 years?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't want to address that specifically because I think that was an issue where the plan may have.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
But the point is that
Yeah.
we want buy-in from the property.
Absolutely. So the reason we're here today is we're doing a mural festival in October, and part of that was the idea that we'd like to do a couple of new murals in town. We have approached different property owners. One of them is Marino's Pizzeria. He's filled out our application, and he's excited about going forward with the design we're presenting. So we're asking for just your approval to do that. That application has been completely filled out. And meanwhile, we had a couple of other horses in the race, and one of them was the Faisal dispensary, and they have just finally said, sort of going through, their staff up to the guy who is the owner of the building, who is not, presently in the building all the time. So he has accepted the design for that, and what we're asking for is just if you could, since we're having the meeting tonight, if you guys could look at it and just see if there's, what we did was we looked to see, since our application is not complete for that, we looked to see legally if you guys could give us provisional approval so we can at least move forward with the understanding that we will complete the application.
So the only thing, if you remember, the ordinance is specific about the two big considerations we had. One was the property owner. Second was the public, that the public at least knew what happened, because part of the application fee is to pay for notification to the neighbors. So I think the Marinas one, is that properly notified?
No, because you guys have to approve it, and then I put it out there for the public, like.
And then it's
Right,
fine.
so you're talking about them tonight, you guys
So
agree.
we talk about them tonight, then they get, so I thought it's not at the same night. So there's a 30-day in between,
It's 7 to 14 days?
14 days. So we
Well,
can,
we did not understand that from reading, when we read the ordinance, it basically says that we make the notification, it gets advertised, and then at the meeting tonight.
yeah, I can't remember. Does anybody know the ordinance?
I have it
Hold
here.
up. Hold up. Because that was the only, I'm gonna let the lawyer do it. The only two things is that, is, my opinion, I don't have a vote.
Yeah, I
Council
have
has
a
a
vote.
vote. I'm only trying to give everybody the rules. The rules are that the property owner, like Dan Marino, he wants it, that's very important to me, and I believe the council. And then the second part of it is that the residents in the area, the neighborhood, at least have an understanding. I wouldn't say they have veto power, they don't have veto, but they can allow them to voice their opinion, just like a planning board,
Right.
and things like that. Do you want to help me
Sure,
out?
so let's see, the application gets filed, the borough clerk forwards the application to borough council for review and consideration. Borough council shall schedule a hearing for the purpose of reviewing the application. Borough council shall advise the applicant in writing at least 14 days prior to the hearing of the date, time, and place, and shall ensure a notice of the hearing is placed in the official newspaper of the borough at least 7, but not more than 14 days prior to the hearing. So it's not like the planning board where we do
Yeah.
specific notification, we just advertise it generally.
Right, so I thought this would be the discussion part,
Correct.
and then it'll be.
So we can discuss it tonight
I'll
and
put it
then
in
vote
the
on it in a week,
Right.
Put it in the paper.
Right.
for
Vote on it
Tuesday.
next week?
On Tuesday, does that make sense, Dan,
That's
Eleanor,
That's-
Patty?
Yeah.
We
Yes,
get
I mean,
in,
I know you want to get moving on it, but we're
it could be caucus next month.
Yes.
Oh, you can't be in 7 days?
No, because we'd have to advertise it 7 days in advance.
And the earliest I could get it into retrospect would be Friday.
Yeah. So we can do it for caucus next month on the 24th, but not before.
So, let's at least have some discussion. Does anybody have any concerns about the Marinos application?
No.
No? Bob?
I do.
Okay, say something.
Hey, you know, I always open my mouth. I'm not.
Well, here, hold on, let Bob go, because I thought Bob wanted to say something.
I don't have a problem with marinos at all, but if we're going to have marinos, the mile, and all this, when is the mural, I mean, I like art, but when do we say enough is enough?
You're saying there can be too many girls?
Yes.
Okay. What were you going to say?
I agree, it's a distraction. That's our thoroughfare. It's a distraction, okay? I feel that it lacks peace and tranquility, which our town is supposed to represent. I remember, Mayor, when we did our first newsletter, and Nancy Anderson did it from Triton, and the kids up there did all the graphics and the artwork, and when we did the draft, we brought it back to you. And it had cute little cutesies on it, and it was colorful. Remember that?
No.
You said no,
I probably said no,
don't want that.
because,
Because I want it to be
Professional.
sophisticated and professional.
yes.
Our town.
That was a newsletter.
Our town is, it still goes in your brain. Our town, I feel, is lacking that, okay? We're revitalizing. Let's revitalize the businesses. Let's clean up the storefronts. Let's clean up the facade. No, to me, because this is how art graffiti started, because I come from the city, so, it came from urban decay. So in my brain, when I see graffiti, it's like, what are you hiding? Okay, that's, and I know it's.
Graffiti is some people's art.
Yes, okay, but I know it's in a lot of people's minds also. Okay, I listen to the public. There's a lot of people that think it's beautiful, and there's a lot of people in our town that are against it. I am one that I'm not for the murals. I'm sorry. That's how I feel. I feel our town needs to be have a little bit of sophistication, come through our town, don't be distracted, and have it be beautiful. Have the fronts be uniform. There's no uniformity. Now we're gonna put big giant tomatoes on marinos. Seriously? But anyway, that's my personal thoughts. That's how I feel. And Eleanor, I'm
Dan,
surprised.
okay.
I'm also surprised with you, who hates people who have tattoos, and
I don't attack Miss Kelly. Easy.
But I'm just saying.
Two different things.
So,
Dan, did you have your opinion?
I don't have a problem with it. I think if Dan owns the building, he should be able to do what he wants.
Oh,
with the building permit.
I'm sorry. I do want to say one other thing.
Good catch. To an
Maintenance.
extent.
I'm sorry. I'm
No,
going to
that's
go
okay.
back.
That was okay.
I want to go back. Maintenance. Are they aware of the maintenance? And when does maintenance begin?
Well, I think
After first
we've
chip.
made it clear in our ordinance, and I think that we've made it clear about maintaining these things. We've not run into it. I think the first one we're really running into, I think, is St. Teresa's. The first one needs a little bit of touch-ups.
And it does. It's a shame, and it does.
But I think what we've tried to do is make it clear that we're asking for people to maintain things. They haven't had that issue yet, where someone hasn't maintained it.
Well, they haven't been up long enough.
No, they haven't.
But
Eleanor, did you have an
that's
opinion?
that's my fear also.
I don't like tomatoes on the building.
Okay, that's your opinion.
That's just my opinion.
But-
I think we could do something better than tomatoes.
Can I just say one thing? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm definitely not against art. I just think so much in a condensed area is too much. Spread out, I think it's kind of neat, but,
I agree with that.
yeah.
I agree 100%.
You know, like.
Do you mind doing this, Mark? Do you mind having Dan come here? Dan Marino? Because I think Dan, our Dan, Councilman Murray's point is valid. Mr. Marino, he owns the building. He has, in my opinion, he does have a great say on what goes on here. Like I said, I don't want to reject my opinion on this because I have no opinion either way. I think it looks nice. I don't think Dan wants to do it. It's kind of okay with me. I don't think it's near any other murals.
Our residents don't have that.
What's that?
Our residents don't have a say on exactly what we can do on our houses. Why,
Well,
we make sure that we,
we don't tell people what color siding they put on their house.
well, that'll be coming.
Well, we don't.
Dan Marino signed the application.
Yeah, but he's not here to argue why he wants it. He's not here to tell us what's important to him. While I appreciate, Ken, I don't even need to ask Ken. I designed this, so I know he thinks it looks good. So I know what his opinion is. I believe Dave thinks it looks good. Now, the only thing I say is, as my limited experience, we are using the background canvas, which is the old brick, where when Cooks got done, I think it was a great point to have the entire building painted prior to the mural going up. But, there could be cost factors, there could be reasonings, and that's something that only Mr. Marino could ask. I believe everyone here is very supportive of Marino's Pizza. You think we could get him here for Tuesday night?
Another reason why he's not here tonight is because he owns a place down the shore, so he told me he'd be unable to make it.
Okay. So, once again, I hate to say this, if it's important to him,
I have a question. Does your ordinance require the business owner to be here?
No.
No.
But I'm here,
So
what I'm
what
afraid
I'm
of,
saying
Ken,
is that-
is you could get a no vote. And a no vote's worse than a postponement.
Well, but we're
Actually-
not voting at all, we're discussing.
We're not even voting tonight.
From what I understand, you can only turn down the designs for the murals if they violate certain standards, not whether or not you can have a mural, because it is the right of the business owner to be able to put a mural on their building,
So-
as long as they go through this application.
So it's great you're pointing that out, so standards. So once again, what is this?
That is the image at the top, it's the outline of the state of New Jersey.
No,
Heart,
not the art.
And then,
What building is it?
oh, that is the shed. It's
The
adjacent
shed,
to this property.
probably the non-conforming use shed in the back is going to be painted. That's not part of the building. So I might argue that the shed is not part of the building.
It's all part of his property.
It's, once again, though, you want to go by letter of the law?
Well, we go by letter of the law, overall aesthetic impact on the neighborhood is a standard for council to
An
consider.
overall standard impact, yes. So the amount of square footage, things like that becomes part of this. And I think that's kind of what you were trying to say, is quantity, or maybe Bob was saying how many of them are. I think there needs to be a little more discussion about this. Once again, council has to decide.
But remember-
Dan does not have to be here. Mr. Marino does not have to be here.
But, Mayor, just to be clear, the application automatically gets a hearing.
Yes,
And it gets an up or down vote no matter what.
Okay.
So just to be perfectly clear, we have to have this hearing.
okay. And when is this hearing going to happen?
The earliest that it can happen is caucus on the 24th of next month.
Okay, so that's the hearing.
Unfortunately, it won't be necessary because we cannot paint these murals during the month of September. We cannot have the mural festival in October. So we have received a grant from the county that we notified you guys about back in the spring. We've been working since the spring to put all the ducks in a row. This is the last thing that we're doing. So what we're here tonight is asking you for provisional approval so we can go forward with this.
Why
So
was
that
this
would be-
application submitted? 3 months ago.
Because the business owners did not make their decisions. They had to look at things like, how much is it going to cost me to do it? How much is
So we have to change our timeline because they didn't do their timeline.
We are asking for some leniency.
How does everybody feel about that? I mean, I understand, we're having this conversation. in front of
If we
everybody.
if we don't do the mural festival, what would we do with that money? Would we
Give it
use
back?
that money?
How much was it?
We received $7,500 from the county that we can use for the mural festival and the paintings.
So what happens if we don't do the mural festival?
We give the money back to the state.
Or spend it on something else, some other
I don't think
project.
the money was not given to
Grants
the
are-
borough of Runnemede. The money was given to
Yeah,
Reimagine
grants are very
Runnemede.
specific.
Yeah, it's not
Okay,
that.
so is the ordinance. The ordinance is very specific. If we're going to talk about specifics, the ordinance is specific. Application comes to us, we then give people a hearing within 14 days. You want to be specifics? That's specifics.
If you would like to go back to when the ordinance was created, you
No.
did say
I
to
don't
us
wanna go back.
that when we go through and we begin to discover some problems with the ordinance, it might be some time then to.
Absolutely, we can change the
address
ordinance. If someone wants to make a motion to change the ordinance, that takes 60 days. Because the point is that people have the right to hear all these kind of changes. I'm not trying to be difficult, but I just want us to understand that what we're doing does have consequences. Everyone can agree or disagree what the consequences are. What, council, what do you guys want to do? Legally, we're supposed to wait till the 24th. Yes.
If I may, what are the terms of your grant? There's usually a timeline, it could be used between this date
It has to be
and this
used
date
this fiscal year for us.
by December 31st or
The problem that we run into is the weather and the timeline. We picked the date in October to have the mural festival corresponding with when the Chamber of Commerce is having their pipe jam, time of year when we get the most people out for it. We couldn't do it in the spring because people had not made those decisions yet, so it got pushed into the fall.
You know we were supportive of it. The only reason we're having this kind of heated discussion is because the applications are late. That's the only reason we're having this discussion.
The way that we read the ordinance, the application for marinas has been submitted on time.
Okay,
The
so we'll
fact
have
that
the
it
hearing on the
was-
24th.
We were really expecting that when we submitted the ordinance, reading it, it said submitted so that there's time for it to be advertised 14 days in advance. Date submitted the ordinance. The
Yeah,
fact that it was not put in it wasn't advertised, and again,
The application was given to us on 8/23, is that correct?
No.
Yes, the application was, you emailed me
It says
a letter
8/23.
from Marinos on the 30th of July.
Thank you. I would like to respond to the mayor. Originally, the August 7th, so I submitted the application. That was before I knew it was even a form.
How did you not know there was a form? We've done this at least 4 times.
There was no form before. I didn't find out about the form.
David, it's in the ordinance. The application shall be made on a form provided by the borough clerk. You were here when we did this.
And if there's no form, let's see. Let me just check that.
Section 250-4.
Just-
It's fine, it's just, that's what it says. I think going in circles about this. But the application wasn't.
No such form has been prepared by a letter, which I prepared a letter, because at that point I was not aware that there was a form. Subsequent to that, I did receive from Beth the form.
So you sent a letter on the 7th. When did you get the form back?
That's the problem that you
Well,
had. Sometime last week, I believe it was.
It was after, by the timing of everything, it was after the August meeting. So
once
either
again,
way, it would have.
if you want to give latitude, I'm not against giving latitude, because there's some circumstances that are there. Does everybody want to do an up and down vote?
On what?
You want to wait, or we can't do an up and down vote on this?
You cannot give approval under your ordinance unless you want to blatantly not follow your ordinance on this tonight.
That could be a bad precedent going forward. You have to think of the future.
All right. Do you want to at least give Mr. Leap and Mr. Steinberg any kind of comments? So, not that I have a vote, my only comments is, I actually think that the murals look very nice. Only comment that I would actually make, ironically, is I think the background should be painted, which is, just me looking at it as your point of aesthetics, that the entire building should be painted, but if I were to guess, Ken probably already suggested it. I know Ken, he probably suggested painting the whole background because it gives him a canvas to really make it stand out. And it would change the entire look of the entire building, I think it would be a really neat, a really great idea, but I would actually like to see something. I'd actually like to see more done. Do we have a number on what it would cost to paint the entire building? Because I'm going to tell you what I'm getting at. I'm getting at that if this town wants to be supportive of art, which we've said we wanted to be for years, we could be supportive of a project like this. So that we get the similar to the facade grants, similar to when we helped St. Teresa's, does the borough step up to make a project better? If our concern is that the project isn't good enough, do we step in and help to make
And how
it
much
better?
trouble do we have with the side grants?
Oh, it was terrible.
It was.
Okay. The people,
We offer, we
the people are very difficult.
offer, and people
Yeah.
out there say we do nothing, nothing.
The people are very difficult. I said it to her. But I'm trying to give you another solution. Why don't you at least get us a number on what it would cost to paint the background? Ken, I'm sure you looked at it. What were you thinking that the background of this building should be? Did you think?
Actually, I did not think,
A dark
I never pursued painting this entire building because the building is too large and I don't feel in my mind that it needs that.
No?
No,
Okay.
not for this building.
Okay. Because you do it, you put a background on these.
You guys
That's
were-
what led me to it. Because you didn't put a background here, but you put a background on the front. And you painted the entire, this is where I'm getting the idea
Yeah,
from.
that, our particular need for that was to do, well, that particular, the shed itself has old paint that's already on it that's peeling, where the building itself is all brick. So if you're concerned about maintenance, the idea of painting the building, then at some future time, that will need to be repainted, the entire building. Leaving it brick.
As much maintenance.
eliminates that. So getting to, specifically, I would like to answer Ms. Passio's question about maintenance and how are they maintained. So the paint, remember, all we are doing is putting a layer of paint on the building. It's no different than anyone else repainting their building. We're using the highest quality exterior house paint. It's rated for a 15-year life, and you have plenty of buildings along the Black Horse Pike that they have paint that is holding up, and you have other buildings that you have paint that is not holding up. And I don't see the scrutiny that you're giving to those buildings the same way that you're giving scrutiny to the buildings that we're doing that's trying to elevate and beautify the community. Now, Ms. Passio has said that there are many people that do not like the murals. I would like to be able to see their names and where they are, because that's not what we experience. We experience people saying things like, we love the murals in town. I was getting ready to move out of Runnemede, and then I saw these murals going up, and it gave me some hope that something was changing, and it was becoming a more beautiful place. I'll say from in 2018, when I bought my building, and I painted the mural there, the council came out, you guys were all very excited. You had a mural, you had a ribbon cutting there. There was a lot of support, and what has happened in the interim is my block is the one block that is completely rented. And I've had people come and knock on my window and say, are there any properties on this block that are available? And I say no. That, it did issue in a renaissance of that particular area. And David and I, have gone to different conferences on creative placemaking, and one of the things that, this is what murals do. This is why Atlantic City is doing murals, this is why Philadelphia is doing murals, this is why the towns around us are now copying us and doing murals. Blackwood is doing 2 new murals this year, because basically they are seeing what has happened in Runnemede. So the idea that the murals are in any way giving a bad character to the town, I think we really need to revisit that and think about that. And there is a complete difference between murals and people that are going in and doing graffiti. So when people are going and doing graffiti, they have no permission for that. They're doing it basically just as free personal expression. And that's not what we're talking, that's not what Reimagine Runnemede is doing. We're getting, yeah, we're getting a lot of support for that. So,
I think council has supported, I just want to say that, you know, we have been very supportive of all this. Art has been something, it's in our budget. We literally put $10,000 a year in our budget, so because I don't disagree that we've tried, and you're right, it's hard. Look how much work he's tried to do just to get people to sign off. He probably would have loved these people to have signed off 3-4 months ago.
Absolutely.
We would have been in much better shape to do this. So, I mean, I commend you that you probably worked very hard on all
yeah, and
this.
I will say that part of the reluctance that we've had with the people saying yes to the murals is then when they get an understanding of the process that they have to go through, which also includes this ordinance. You know, that is really, it's an impediment that has been created compared to what's happening in other towns.
But it's an impediment that other towns do everywhere. You know, I mean.
Well, Blackwood does not have one, Belmar doesn't have one.
Well, because they're still learning. And what will happen is they'll have a situation and then they'll have to back out on it. And, I know this about problems that happen and things like that. So it is our job under land use law to have rules like this. You're right. And other towns do it. Once again, I always talk about my own personal experiences. To build my building, guys, I had to get 17 variances. It's taken me 3 years. Popeyes is still not built on the Black Horse Pike. So these impediments, while I agree with you, the reason they exist, and our construction official is here, he will tell you, and our technical assistant will tell you, we have these rules mostly to protect people and to protect other people.
Right, and I just want to also say from the side of the arts that there are rules that protect the arts as well. And one of those is the First Amendment. And just want to make sure that the council is aware that if you deny a mural for considerations other than there being hate speech, pornography, or something completely vulgar about it, everything else is protected under the First Amendment. So really, this asking for permission, we are doing it, but the property owners in town all have the right to put lawn ornaments on their front yard, little flags, little statues. You can put any kind of knickknacks out in your front yard, whether or not your neighbors like that.
Do you want me to
You
answer
can
this
still
before
do
I
it,
answer
so-
it? All right, I like the attorney to answer.
Sure, I'm not going to get into a legal argument about that, but there's a certain, you're talking about if it's content neutral. We can have content neutral, like for example, if somebody were to put up a Donald Trump mural, and we said no, but allowed a Kamala Harris mural, that's a totally different conversation. We're talking about, we can make certain, like you said, land use ordinances, but they have to be content neutral. I would bet you a good amount of money, and I'm not saying that you're saying this, that if Reimagine Runnemede were to challenge our mural ordinance on First Amendment grounds, we would do just fine as a town. I truly believe
We're
that.
talking about percentage of painting.
Right.
To say we don't like tomatoes, that's why I made a face. That's an opinion.
Right.
I'm just giving my opinion. You asked me what
I
my
understand.
opinion was.
But percentages, remember what I do for a living, is signs. It's percentages. Homes are percentages. Coverage on lots is percentages. So while we have a very, broad kind of ordinance, we could take it to the next level. And by every right, put percentages on there. But we didn't do that, Ken. This is why the adversarial part bothers me, Ken. We're supposed to be on the same team. And my counsel points out to me a lot that Reimagine Runnemede seems to be very critical of myself and counsel. And we see this, and I'm trying to be supportive, and you make it really hard for me to bend the rule, which you don't even like the rule, and I'm trying to help you, and I could just say we just have to follow the rules. You want to challenge in court, you have every right to do it. That's my answer, okay? I'm very supportive, but you're going to lose my support. You keep being adversarial with me, I don't need it. No, you are being. You're being adversarial. And the fact that, we're trying to get something done here. You're asking us to bend all the rules because you couldn't get the people in time. I understand that. We miss meetings all the time because things don't get done. But come on now. You're asking us to bend the rules, and then you're mad at us that there's rules. what does everyone do? I think you're feeling how I'm feeling.
I feel exactly how
But
you feel, Mayor.
once
and I
again,
think September.
council, what's beautiful about this is you all have a vote. You want to wait till next week? We have to advertise, we have to do it, we can bend the rules, we can break the rules.
So remember, it has to be advertised for a minimum of 7 days, but no more than 14.
So what's 7 days?
So 7 days would be, you can't get it until Friday, it would be the following Friday.
What about the Courier Post?
I'm not sure of their deadline.
We don't have, I read the thing that says the retrospect and the Courier Post, so we can do the Courier Post.
I'm not
But
sure.
it's
of
the
their
official
deadline.
newspaper, it's
Not
what
a
the
time
official
to-
newspaper of the borough is, 7 days prior to the hearing. So that would have to be in tomorrow.
Yeah, that's not happening.
That's not happening, and no matter where we go, it's not gonna be tomorrow.
You know the Courier Post about this.
Well, Nick, you gotta remember, they're printing that
It's 3
paper,
days.
they're printing tomorrow's paper right now. So that's not, it's not happening next week.
What does the council want to do? He's asking you for a waiver on the 14 days. Right, you said you were fine with it? What do you
I'm
think?
fine with the girls, I'm sorry.
But isn't,
I don't
sorry.
think it,
Right.
I don't disagree with Patty, but I don't think it distracts people driving down the road.
People love it.
Only
I just get so many compliments all the time.
But we're having two different conversations.
But are we allowed to break the rules?
Right, this is,
Next week.
We go against the ordinances.
No, that's, we have words, we have discussions, you know, we can't go against the ordinance. I'm all for the murals, but I'm not all for the murals just as not following the ordinance.
Yeah, we can't open that can of worms.
And I understand they've been trying to get these applications.
that's fine, I think everybody's
It's
here.
getting happens.
In the ordinance.
And in that case, they might lose the $7,500 grant because of it, but that's not our fault.
We get closer.
Bob, you okay with hearing it next week?
Nick, we can't.
Can't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why am I thinking?
Can't.
You asked the wrong
We cannot.
Are you willing to break
The
the ordinance?
hearing would be between hang on one second. It would be between 7 and 14 days of the advertisement. That can't be done next Tuesday. Yes, Kat?
So the question is, let's assume that we had gotten to the deadline and everything was submitted perfectly on time, and this is the meeting that we're having tonight.
Right.
The question is, we need permission so that we can go forward and order the paint and get everything started so that we can actually make our deadline of doing things.
So
What
you
we're
want to go
asking
with your own
for
risk?
is, you know, we're asking for your provisional, like, how are you assuming that you're going to vote in another month?
Well, that's a great point, because the entire point of the advertising is if somebody who's an interested party or a neighbor wants to be heard on the application, they can come in and be heard. Like, for example, you all have been here enough to know, anytime we have any ordinance that we pass ever, it gets advertised and we have to open it up for a public hearing. Every single time, no exceptions. What the design was at the time that we were crafting this ordinance was a similar kind of thing to give everybody, protect your rights as you're wanting to do these murals, protect bad actors, which we're not saying you are, for people who, I'm gonna use an extreme example, right? Somebody comes in and says, I want a mural of a Nazi sign, something like that. That could let us, gives us the discretion to say no. It also gives us the ability to advertise in the paper to, and look, it's just like we advertise for ordinances. It gives interested parties that follow that stuff the ability to come in and state, I like this mural because X. I dislike this mural because Y. That's the setup of the rules. Because remember, we're talking about two different conversations here. And I can't, hang on one second. I can't underscore this enough. Whether we like murals and following our ordinance is two wildly separate and apart things.
Okay. Nowhere in the ordinance does it say that that you would be entertaining, neighbors coming in and saying that we don't want this for one reason or another. And I believe that when we were in the process of, when you guys were crafting the ordinance, and we had this discussion, and we brought in the experts and looked at it, what every single person said was when it gets to the point where, sending photos of the ordinance to the neighbors, and sending photos of the mural to the neighbors, and asking the neighbors to come in and say, I don't like a blue cow, I want a red cow.
Right, we kept that out.
That was taken out.
We was.
So I don't
It gives the-
understand what this, it sounds like you've taken it out, but you haven't taken it out.
No, we have. And we've taken it out because there's two differences between that. This is a general advertisement in the paper as opposed to a variance. Nick, for example, when you were going through what, in the building getting the variances, you yourself were responsible for notifying everybody within a certain footage of your property. This is the original ordinance, and I remember this well. It was, we have to notify, or we put the ordinance on you to notify everyone within, I think it was 200 feet initially. Don't quote me on that. But now it's just we're going to replace that with a general advertisement in the official newspaper of the borough, so that it's as open and as transparent a process as possible.
Yeah. Well, did you not advertise that there was a meeting tonight? And was
Yeah,
this
look at all
not,
the people who showed up.
and was this not on the agenda? So did you not advertise that?
We walked it on, is that correct?
It was,
It was on the agenda.
It's on there as a discussion.
Yeah.
no, because the notice of the hearing has to be put in there. The notice that there is going to be a hearing on this night.
Yeah, on January 5th, we
Well,
said.
again, I understand that you have created a procedure, and what we're asking for is a way to go forward with what our festival and painting the murals, even though you have created this system. So
Could you answer a couple, I just have a couple quick questions.
Yes.
What is the cost of the mural for Marinos?
We're doing that for 5,000.
5,000?
6,000.
$6,000. And what is the cost of the phase one? 8. And what is the one for the mile?
That was also,
Station doesn't have application yet, right?
yeah.
I'm only asking,
I'm just.
because we're talking about the $7,500. I want to know.
Six.
About $6,000. Okay. I think that's, just so people know what the cost is, and what the investment is of both Reimagine Runnemede and then my second question is, of this for Marinos, the 6,000, how much of the 7,500 is going to offset his cost?
At the moment, it depends on whether we're doing more than one mural. So we have offered them 2,500 for each of
So you offer like 2,500 to each one?
Yeah.
So they pay 6 or they only pay 3,500?
They would pay the 3,500.
Okay, so it'd be minus,
Yeah.
so your goal here is to use the 7,500 to reduce the price?
Correct.
Does everybody understand that? 'Cause actually, I didn't know what the 7,500 was going to. Wasn't sure what kind of activities or other stuff that was going to be done. So the mural festival, just to be clear, is you want to paint these murals during the festival?
We're painting them beforehand, and we're also having a festival, and we're doing separate fundraising for that as well.
When's this happening?
Let's see, it's October 18th.
October 18th. And when would you have to put paint on your painting process?
We have to do it during the month of September because we're trying to leave the contingency.
How long does it
We don't
take?
know what the weather is going to be like. There's a lot of factors.
No, I understand that. Robert,
So
what's your best estimate of how long it would take?
This mural took 1 month to paint,
Understood. Okay.
all right? So that's kind of what we're talking about.
All right, and it would have to be during the month of September, or it would be difficult, because there's a difference between difficult and impossible.
If you want to create an impossible situation.
And this is just
we
for
will
me.
rise up and we will fix the impossible situation because
Ken, it's
that's
just
one of the things that we are able to do.
There's nothing behind the
Yeah.
question besides me trying to figure out what the answer is from a timeline perspective. So don't read any more into
Okay.
it than the words I am
So if
saying.
you're not giving us the go-ahead until your next meeting, which is the end of September, is that what you're telling us?
Can I
And
talk
then
to
we
you?
have
Fair.
to do it? It's
Fair.
like we
Yeah.
Can I talk to you real quick sidebar?
can't do it.
Quick sidebar?
Yeah. Give me a second.
Can we all go into a sidebar?
I'll tell them a second.
I do it. You need to.
Okay. Yeah.
You'll use that stuff?
You could have said that, Dan. Help me.
I don't, you're the client.
Help me out.
You want me to say it?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Just so we make everyone
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah. You're both suggestions. And you take
We
credit.
can always set a
Oh, that's
special
it.
meeting with 48 hours notice.
Yes, well,
We've done it before.
we've done it on many occasions. So what we could do to help out is just, once again, advertise as quickly as possible, advertise another meeting, and we just have a quick meeting. You know,
Just for
if
this.
Mr. Marino could come, if you were trying to get all three of these done, and get all of our ducks in a row, I think some input is important to them, even though I think the only input that I think that we really can say about it is the artwork is really sort of up to the property owner. But maybe the amount can be questioned, like, the phasal looks big, but once again, I'm more thinking about percentage, I'm not really giving any opinions on it. I mean, the mile, I love that you're trying to do a lot there. You heard what I said, I thought the marina should do more, so it's kind of ironic. But why don't we do a special meeting?
That's where I was
No,
going.
Okay with us.
Dan?
I'll be here.
Patty?
Need a quorum?
No. Okay.
Yeah. Great.
Say no.
I didn't,
Okay, yes.
Mayor, I just can't throw that out there without your approval.
No, I appreciate that, but it's, so why don't we do a quick special meeting? And what we'll do is Beth will get the date as soon as she can figure out when we can advertise. And then what we'll do, if everyone's in agreement, can we do it early? Want to do like a 5 o'clock? Is that better
You
for
can do it
everyone?
anytime you want, yeah.
5 or 6, is that good for you? Because you gotta get back, or,
Yeah, I'm fine.
Dan, is it earlier a little bit better for a meeting?
Yeah.
And the only thing on the agenda will be these things. So anything to help us out. That board is phenomenal, that looks great. That kind of stuff that help everyone visualize and stuff like that.
Can I have dates, just so I make sure? What are you thinking for that meeting?
As soon as the advertisement's finished.
We
Yeah, it's already been
advertised it.
Meeting on Friday.
Okay, so that would give us a 14-day window.
So within 7 and 14
It would have to be
days.
the week of the 9th. The week
We
of
should
the
have a little, we shaved off 3 weeks.
Thank you.
Was he biting it out of his cheek?
Yeah, he couldn't get it out, he's struggling.
So the week of,
Week of the 9th.
Do you want any other input from anybody else on these? I mean, I think you've heard from Patty, I think you've heard from Bob, I think you've heard from everybody,
I would love to have a meeting with you, Patty, so you can tell me all the people who do not like the murals.
I'm going to tell you all the people. I'm going to give you names, and you really think that they want their names out there?
We have a lot of people that will give their names for why
To be
they
supported,
like the murals.
absolutely.
So,
we just,
I'm sure
All
they
right, I have a cereal, Ken, that's what I was just saying. I have a cereal, honey, right? Is it sugar or something, Are you good then?
Well, he's good.
We're gonna give you a date. It's gonna be a vote, and it'll be an up and down vote.
Monday the 9th?
Gives you 2 weeks to lie. What do you want? What do you want?
Because you've always given to people that you shouldn't. Okay?
Thank you.
that was my idea.
Yeah, I know that.
All right.
But that's, look, I
That's
have,
gonna be-
A clarification from the CFO, you want to say what your clarification is?
The budgeted amount for the arts this year is $5,000.
There is 5,000 in the 2024 budget left.
If that's what was budgeted.
Did we use it?
Not yet. No, it
No,
was
it's
set
all-
aside
yeah.
specifically for.
Oh, it is for this mural?
It is for it.
Okay, so we've committed $5,000 to this event, so it does look bad. I was just giving you a hard time because we couldn't, if we were doing this in July, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
I would have loved to have done it in May, but I couldn't get the people to.
I'm sure you worked hard. No doubt, you had to put a lot of time.
The special meeting, September 9th, Monday at 5 o'clock.
Does everyone want to look? If I'm not here, Ms. Passio runs the meeting, so. It's my son's birthday, but I will be here.
Are you
5 o'clock on the 9th?
Hold.
Is that Tom with you, Ken?
Yeah,
All right.
I'm away
At
that
6
weekend.
is creative.
Want to do the 10th?
You would have mentioned
This year,
it.
Zoom. We got court.
wait a sec, well,
11th, I have bowling.
Wednesday. All right,
I have to
but
do it earlier.
here's
What about the 10th? What's wrong with the 10th?
court.
Court, it's our first court thing.
That's here.
The court was, the first one was 17th. Is it?
Zoom is the 10th, sorry.
Zoom is the 10th. Oh, we don't need the court?
Hey, you guys, let's do virtual.
Wanna do virtual? Virtual meetings.
We don't have a, I know.
All right.
So what date?
What better than 5 o'clock on a Friday night?
Yeah, right.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Nick, what time's your bowling on the 11th?
Oh, making fun, I can be here, I'm sorry.
No, what time's
My
your bowling?
bowling's at 7, so he's having
Yeah.
So Wednesday at 5.
What's
on
that,
the
the 11th?
The 11th at 5.
It's a special
11th at 5 o'clock?
council meeting.
That is.
The 10th and the
So it's
17th.
9/11. There's a ceremony at the high school in the morning.
Yeah.
Is everybody new?
5 o'clock, right?
So 5 o'clock on the
Does
11th.
that work, Shelley?
5 o'clock, yeah.
That's a special.
I would criticize you for lack of transparency myself if you tried to stop
Okay.
something.
You good? Have your ducks in a row.
And please understand, there is a difference between adversarial and advocacy. I am advocating.
I have a hard time differentiating.
I'm living in adversarial, and I don't mind it at all. Bring it up. I got adversarial with Harry all the time.
Thank you.
I'm just kidding.
All right. Code, what are we doing next? That was fun. Code enforcement. We should have went first on code enforcement. We talk about code enforcement?
I like yours. Nice couple.
You already defined it.
You okay?
Deadline, huh?
This is really light, so.
No. See ya.
Have fun.
All right, let's do something because we've got a gentleman here. I saw, see, you get to experience us.
We're not always like this.
So you want me to?
Chief, you want to introduce our
All right, so as everybody knows, Officer Brooks has been here since 2011, has retired, so we, obviously, it's been a process to replace him. We had 3 candidates, one chose to stay where he was, another one took another job, and then Rick came in at the last minute. We had went through all the processes, and we had an interview with Captain Burns, myself, Mrs. Kelly, and Mr. Iannucci, and I'm excited we are where he is because I think he's going to do phenomenal for this borough and this town. We were academy mates in 1996, and he has the same personality in the academy as he does now 28 years later. So come on up, Rick. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you for having me. That was interesting. I've been to meetings before, but that one was just interesting.
We're on the same side.
Yeah, and it was settled perfectly for everyone else here. I'm going to be the new, I guess you would call that school resource officer for here.
For the locals.
Yes.
For the local.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not the tri, it was a long process. I can't believe it's been 28 years. Makes me just feel old.
Don't say that, we need him to stay.
We went to Academy guy. I mean, and how he is now,
He's the same guy?
I find that easiest thing to believe.
It hasn't changed at all. I retired last year. I retired July of 23 from Pennsauken Township Police Department. Much bigger town, a lot crazier going on there. Schools aren't as fun here. Then I got the opportunity to, someone reach out to me. I got the opportunity to talk to Bill about it, the chief about it, and put my little fellow into place. And I'm happy to be here. I can't wait to get started. I can't wait to meet the staff. Most importantly, just little kids. I'd love to get out for them. Well, they're grown now. But just to meet the kids and just to get around and meet the members of the community and get this started.
So is his title class 2 or class 3?
2. I was able to convince him to be a 2.
Yeah.
It took some convincing.
So does that, Chief, you want to explain the difference between the 2 to the 3 so everyone knows?
One of the things when I looked at Rick originally and we talked, I said, I'd like to be a class 2, and he gave me like a weird look. So I thought about it for a couple weeks, and when he came back into my office after meeting with Mrs. Kelly, I'm like, I know why you don't want to be a class 2. And I said, because you don't want to work the street. And he goes, you're right. I said, you won't have to. You can help me with parades, court. So the difference between a 2 and 3 is a class 2 can do many more things for our police department and borough, like help me out with parades, court, just anything that needs to be done. A class 3 goes to the school, comes back, drops his cars off, and goes home. You never see him again. So
you'll work the summertime with us?
It is strictly, class 3 officer, state of New Jersey, I think on the civil service is
School year only?
Yeah.
School only, any school function, you're there. And And yes, he did talk me out of that.
But as class two, you'll help us out in the
Class two,
summertime.
Yes.
and that's how I got started anyway.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
20-something years
Start
ago,
off as
I
a class
started
two.
off as a class two and just worked my way into it, and now I'm graduating back into it.
Yeah, class three is basically, in my opinion, for the bigger departments.
Okay.
The ones, the little ones that gotta utilize their manpower and do whatever they can for little things. When you have a small department, class three is way more beneficial, so.
Because the school's only 180 days. so-
Yeah. Yeah, he's, like I said, we got the courts, we got the pipe jams, the parades. He wouldn't be eligible to do any of that if he was a three.
And that's what Howard did for us for years.
Yes, since 2011. And then, speaking of Howard, we're gonna do something, I'll get with you guys. I can present him with a nice plaque in the council meeting October 1st.
Beautiful.
He was a phenomenal
He was here
horseman.
for a long time. He had big shoes I had to fill.
Yeah, no,
So.
all right, Howard was, he was great. He really,
I can't wait to get started. Thank you.
thank you, nice to meet you, we'll have you on the agenda, we'll get you done.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna go through our resolutions. Let's get through these. All right, resolution 24-126, authorization for property maintenance lien. It looks like there's 5 of them on there. Would someone like to make a motion? Motion by Mr. Lobenstein, second by Mr. Shapiro. Roll call, please.
Ms. Casio?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
And Mr. Murray?
Yes.
5 to 6 ayes.
Okay, that resolution is adopted. We have resolution 24-127 regarding employee resignations.
I make that motion.
Well, I'll read them. So, it's not every night. Court, Alice Max, after many, many years, she helped us out at court clerk. David Gelman, our substitute public defender. At construction, Mr. Oberg for code enforcement. And the police department crossing guard, Ramona Soprano. And all these took effect August 12th, but yet Alice was on the 23rd.
Bill last a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it happens. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Farrell, second by Mr. Lobenstein. Roll call, please.
Ms. Casio?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell? Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
And Mr. Murray?
Yes.
5.
All right, that resolution is adopted. Resolution 24-128 is a resolution authorizing agreement with Duke's Root Control for the purpose of chemical root control treatment in various segments of the sanitary sewer system in the borough in the amount not to exceed $30,000. This is something we've done a lot. I guess it's needed. Make a motion by Mr. Lobenstein. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Shapiro. Roll call, please.
Ms. Casio?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
And Mr. Murray?
Yes.
That resolution is adopted. Resolution 24-129 is a resolution confirming the 2024 appointments. We're calling it the school resource officer for the Runnemede Board of Education, SLEO 2, Ricardo Figueroa. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly.
I'll second it.
Second by Ms. Patsy. Roll call, please.
Ms. Casio?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
And Mr. Murray?
Yes.
All right, that resolution is adopted. Resolution 24-130 is a resolution confirming appointments for substitute public defender. So just so everyone knows, we are merging our courts starting September 1. There is a need to have additional personnel. So Mr. Del Sordo already had a contract with the borough anyway, so this gives us an opportunity. Mr. Viola is already our public prosecutor. He is part of this group. I do have to still apologize to our judge, but I hadn't had a chance. Court personnel got ahead of me. I'll take care of that. But this would just finish them up for the end of the year. And remember, starting January 1, things adjust again. So we'll have to figure out in January 1 how things happen. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Lobenstein.
I'll second
Second
it.
by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Ms. Casio?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
And Mr. Murray?
Yes.
And this resolution is adopted. Do we need something for the Black Horse Pike Regional School? Is that a resolution or an ordinance that needs to be amended? Did we have another resolution? So Chief, so just so everyone knows, the regional school district, we have police officers that do outside activities there. The rate has changed. We need to change, I believe, our ordinance. So we might have to do it at first reading at the next month's meeting, but school starts. What's your opinion, Mr. Long? How do we get our rate changed The school doesn't even have a problem with it.
They do.
I know. So, we just do an ordinance, first reading next month, amending that amount?
Yeah, you can go back to it.
Okay, so just for discussion, we're gonna put it on for our Tuesday's meeting. We're gonna throw on the change of the rate, which the
I'm
school.
not gonna say provisional approval on that.
Okay, the school district has agreed to for the outside employment of the police officers. What was the other resolution you needed? There was something for,
Signatory changes for the court.
Yeah, you should have that. I handed it to you when you came in.
okay, so I do have, okay, hold on.
Unless you
There
have
it
it as well.
All right, resolution 24-131. All right, this is a resolution authorizing bank signatory changes. So by obviously doing court, Ms. Lawson is retiring at the end of this month. It changes the names to Ms. Macari, Ms. Hodges, and Ms. Barry as signatories. Ms. Barry was already a signatory,
She's
wasn't she?
already on there, but they need to keep that as.
Okay, so all three of them are signatories. Okay. Would someone like to take the motion to approve that?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Longstein, second by Mr. Shapiro. Roll call, please.
Gracia?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Yes.
And Mr. Murray?
Yes.
What was those three women's names?
That's all, Ms. McCary, Ms. Hodges, and Ms. Barrett.
Barrett?
Barry,
Barry.
Teresa, who worked for us now. She is a signatory now, she'll continue to be a signatory.
Okay.
Okay? And how about we just get the payment of bills out of the way? Because I'm in the mood for getting votes. Is there a motion to pay the monthly bills?
I'll make that.
Motion by Mr. Prowse, second by Mr. Lobenstein. Roll call, please.
Gracia?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein? Yes. Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
And Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Six ayes.
All right, bills are paid. Committee reports, finance, Mr. Barry. Should we put finance and construction on there? We should.
I think it'd be just construction, not showing to a report. And so just right back to the construction we'll talk about real quick. Next week, we're looking at, the mayor introduced me to a gentleman that's going to come in. He works for Barrington now, does some work in Belmar, and looks at things differently. I've been talking to Wayne a lot about it. Wayne had some great ideas. Most towns inspect all your apartment buildings every year, which we don't. And
We only do it when it
we
changes.
do it when it's changeover, yeah. So that's the biggest idea that they're coming in with. And next week, the guy's name's Brian Kelly. He'll be in here. He'll have some ideas for that, and hopefully we'll be able to come to an agreement with him.
And he'll do code enforcement also.
He'll do
Kids
code.
pressure.
Yep, he does code, and he'll do COs, COOs with two other guys. So we'll actually be hiring 3 people. So he does strictly code. And
You're having your interview next week.
already spoke to him with Wayne.
He's coming in front of all of us.
I want him to come in front of us because it's a different way of looking at the way we do things.
He approached me many years ago, and at the time, we had Buck working for us, we had Keith doing the work, we had other people doing the work, so with Buck's retirement, this kind of opened it up, and at the time, we were trying to get somebody local in town. That didn't work out, so now we're gonna go, I think Chief Stampolsky knows Mr. Kelly.
Yeah, I sat in on the
I think
interview.
this is, I think, right, Dan, everyone seems to be very positive. I think Dan's point is, he needs to talk to us, say hello, and then a few changes. Was there anything else?
No, I think he's phenomenal.
And I think, let's be honest, he's going to present new ideas to increase revenue into the town, so he's most likely going to want to be paid more than what we're paying.
But there's a positive side,
Right.
because the argument that they make, the other towns make, and I'm John, is he's talking about these yearly inspections of apartments. The fire department will probably tell you, there's people who move into an apartment, don't move out for 20 years, which means we never go in that apartment for 20 years.
Right.
And so, even though it's a little difficult on our apartment buildings, however, under a public safety guideline to say, okay, we're gonna go in there once a year to make sure that certain things are up to standards. We're only doing it when the apartment is vacated or there's renovations. Now, I would argue, and hopefully Brian will say this also, is if they did get an inspection in that year, we won't give them, I don't think we do a double inspection. You know, say a new tenant moves in January, we won't go back in there until the following January.
Right, so if you take Metropolitan, and they also do an exterior of the building, so you take Metropolitan, there may be 16 units in each building. So they'll do each unit, and then they'll do an exterior of that building as well. And
Once a year.
Once a year. And the idea behind it is, and I said revenue, like, don't even put that in your mind, but it is a safety thing. because like the mayor just said, there's people, like, you're not in those apartments for years and years, you don't know what's going on. So this will get us in there, and these guys are already in action in Belmar and Barrington in some way, shape, or form, the three different people. So I think it's going to be a good.
Now, it's not just the large apartments, let's be clear, it's all apartments in town.
Right.
Because like the Metropolitan, the larger ones do get a 3-year inspection by the state. But say these smaller apartments, which are only 2 or 3.
5 years. Yeah,
Or 5 years, so there's a lot of time in between.
Yeah.
And so this is something, other towns, it went this way a little while ago. I think they did it as a reaction to problems. Knock on wood, I don't believe we've had as many problems, but I think if we're gonna go this direction, let's go feet first.
All the way, yes. And I did meet with Shelley about it too. We're going to try to work out if we can do it as a shared service, if we can do that as well.
Well, is the salary going to be
Well,
part of the
see,
negotiations?
Once again, there's where it gets a little tricky. Shared services have a whole different atmosphere than just our employees. To me, it doesn't matter either way.
Right.
It's ironic, when I said, Dan, let's just pay him, Shelley said the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So whatever works for everybody.
I think it's because I'm the new guy.
Yeah.
These are the answers I get because I'm the new guy.
You get 2 different answers.
100%.
Yeah.
There are benefits to
There are benefits to both.
Yeah.
Shared service means, like, for example, when Mr. Laggy left us, he gave us a resignation, which was improper. It was actually the canceling of a shared service agreement. He really had no right to leave.
Well, that's,
Well, we had an agreement.
they have amendments against that for me. Compelled employment.
Compelled employment, but the shared service, they could have hired someone else to send them over.
That's true.
That's what my point is. They could have sent another inspector to cover until that contract expired. If we hire them directly, there is negotiation, there is difference in salaries, but it doesn't make a
And
difference to me.
this is a shared service?
We're
It's up
not
in the
sure
air.
yet. It's up in the air. We're still working through that end of it.
Because there's 3 gentlemen, I believe, right? They're all
Yes,
three men?
there's 3.
Because they rotate days, if a call comes in, they're available, which this town doesn't always have. If we only have 1 person, they may not be available. By having 3 gentlemen,
And who's going to run this whole
it's
town?
done through the construction office.
And who's going to run the construction
The
office?
construction official is the superior officer of that department,
And who is that?
Mr. Wayne Hans.
Wayne Hans.
You appointed him.
Wayne?
Hans.
Hunt.
He was just here, he was sitting in the audience.
I understand, we don't know everybody, we don't see everybody all the time.
No.
Wayne came from Lindenwald, he was recommended to us.
And he was here today?
Yes,
Yeah.
very nice gentleman.
He's been doing a great job. I'm in there all the time.
The chief's been working with him, I know Dan's been working.
I've never met him. I
It's
don't.
okay, well, Dan, that was his department, Dan took
Oh,
care of
I
it.
know, I know.
Take care of it.
It's just that I just didn't know who the boss was gonna be.
We're gonna make it
It's Dan.
pictures.
It's
No,
Dan.
Dan's not the boss. Dan is the council.
I know that. But as a councilman, will you have some kind of leadership role in this whole thing?
Not really, there's just reports.
Liaison.
Liaison.
I'm a liaison.
Yeah, you're actually, Dan, you're actually conducting the
report.
inspections
You
yourself.
report.
Yeah, but I.
This is Kelly.
Tell Public Works what to do.
This is Kelly. I work down there with Diane and Wayne almost every day. They're doing a great job down there. Wayne's been fantastic. He's a great guy. He's got a great personality. He's how to deal with people, and he's smart. He knows his job.
Everybody's talking.
I'll take you down there next time you come and see me.
I was going to say that, but.
Okay, the next thing I have for finance is,
One more thing, on the apartments, how do we know when they're vacant and to be inspected?
I believe they contact I think they contact us and let us know to come in and do a CO.
Do they
What was the question?
They notify the town.
the apartments already notify the town when they have an empty apartment?
They do a pretty good job, they always, when an apartment gets changed over, they do notify the construction. We've known that for a year, they're very good at it. This would be a little different for them, because, once again, we have to find out, if apartment changes over, I don't want to do 2 inspections on it, that wouldn't be fair.
No.
So, there's a mechanism, and we're gonna be very transparent, and these apartments, they own other buildings in other towns, so this is not unusual.
No.
If anything, we're late to the game.
Yeah.
Other towns have been doing this. Metropolitan owns a dozen apartment buildings like that. So does Presidential, they own a dozen apartment buildings,
Yeah.
not just in Runnemede.
Region Court as well.
Yeah.
She manages to.
Yeah, just the manager manages it.
Yeah.
Was there anything else?
Just one more thing with finance. What's everybody's, I spoke to a few people, what's everybody's opinion about indoor pickleball in Harry Williams building?
That's what you have.
That's fine.
You really stepped in John's shoes well, didn't you?
The pickleball.
He jumped right into John's shoes. Nothing to do with finance.
Harry, you say no good?
We looked at this before.
Okay.
And there's too much conflicts with the afternoon stuff and everything else that we got going on. Before we did have the school in there, I think Triton for wrestling, but that went real quick.
Triton.
It's just everything else, and it's the maintenance part of it.
Okay.
My opinion, you know, not to be contrary to Harry, is if the building is available, like Harry's point, the availability is very difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
And then there needs to be time for maintenance and cleanup and all that stuff, so that's when.
How much it's costing us to fix the pickleball court now? Imagine what it's gonna cost us.
Yeah, and everything has wear and tear. And, you know, so just to circle back to our court agreement, the council, and the agreement we have, we are being compensated for the fact that we're using our buildings, and that's how it has to work. So no different if a private entity did it, we have to have enough funds to come in to cover our costs, so.
Yeah, and that's what I was looking at from 6 or 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. before library, and then charging people money and coming up with a fee. That's how I was looking at it.
Maybe
Everybody else does it, doesn't.
Maybe if the finances, then maybe that changes Harry's mind. Did you know he was thinking 6 to 7 in the morning?
Well, the issue is, you hate me saying this, but it's employees, because who's open, who's closed, who's gonna watch it.
Right.
Then I gotta clean it afterwards.
Maria doesn't sleep.
We have other stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot more variables.
No, I don't disagree.
Or, you know, and it's not to say no, it's just, there's a lot with it. I mean, it's mayor's council's decision.
Yeah.
Please.
That's why the finance side doesn't need someone.
Yeah.
If it's 500 a day, I'll come over.
There's also, we gotta look at what can be done and then line it all.
We're gonna be there for, she'll be there
That's
for
what
4
problem the lines, yeah.
Yeah,
Lines and nets. You know, lines and nets.
You don't wanna do tape.
Well, I thought we were gonna redo the whole pickleball.
No, he's talking about the Harry Williams Community Center.
Yeah.
The pickleball's down at Green Acres. Green Acres, no, there'll still be Green Acres, the Vanilla Park will still have it.
Okay.
We got money for that. He says there's a need for morning people sometimes in the wintertime, they'd like to go somewhere.
And I
It
think-
may only be in the winter.
And I think it may only be in the winter time. I think there's a way to bring
It's
some
like a lake.
revenue into the town as well.
It's a lake, like it's everything like a lake.
Basically.
You gotta go to Bed Bath & Beyond. Go open that up, you could follow that out over there.
Yeah,
Is there anything else?
that's all I have.
Okay. Public safety, Ms. Keller.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I will rely on my report for Tuesday. Well, I do want to wear my fund commissioner hat and let you know that from now on, Claims Resolution Corporation will be handling AmeriHealth Casualty Comp Services. From now on, starting September 1st. There are service teams. A lot of them we already know. I think I said this to everybody.
As long as the department heads know this, right?
But this is important for everyone to know, that there will be a transition, and I'm sure there will be glitches. So be aware of the glitches. The last time this happened, it took a lot of straightening out. So please, be patient, okay?
Can I see that at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're going to be handling all our claims. This, we already did, the aggregation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Did we decide on who was going to do the bidding for us?
So the ordinance is being amended to a generic.
Yeah.
And then the ladies that were here the other day, if we want to allow them to at least give us a proposal to set it out, council can just give a resolution saying, go figure out what the numbers are. Audubon did not jump on board, so at this point, we may be the only municipality in Camden County, but once again, we won't take the number unless it's lower than what the utility company is charging.
Absolutely. And if you recall, the last time this did,
It happened.
it happened, and we didn't do the application. Okay. Members of council, did everybody do this, the risk management, so we get the 250 off
I
of
did
our?
not. Is that email been sent out again?
Yes, the deadline.
I missed it.
You guys, we get $250
Yeah.
off of our.
I missed this year, first time probably.
So please, remember to do this every year. How many of you completed the cybersecurity training requirement for number 2, the second?
did not do the second one
They
either.
spelled your name wrong on the certificate.
My head is gonna roll if I don't have this, because this is what, this is cybersecurity is the big thing
Expelled your
with the
name wrong,
JIF.
Eleanor.
With the JIF.
Your head's not gonna roll, but they're gonna take you to task.
I know. I'm just.
They're gonna fire you.
Can you find out who took it and who didn't?
They're gonna fire you.
Because I get confused sometimes. Because I know we did the one, I don't remember doing the second.
We kept getting emails about it all the time.
Yes, we do.
And maybe I did.
Sorry, but I had other priorities.
Okay, so, stormwater compliance. I think we all did this, right? The stormwater
Yes,
compliance.
I signed it.
Harry gave me this. This was excellent. Excellent, Harry. So you should have this completed paper in your file. And that's enough. I'm done.
Thank you. I do have that paper, I keep it in my wallet, just in case.
To show when.
Yeah.
When
Ms.
the
Pasio,
chief stops or.
public events.
Okay, so we are going to have our annual townwide yard sale, which will be on Saturday, September 28th, and Sunday, September 29th. The hours will be from 8 to 2. There's no registration. Just put your wares out, bring them back in the house, and then put them back out again. And then please bring them back, and whatever you don't sell, you want to put in the trash. Harry will just, yeah, Harry might pick up some of the big things. But anyway, it is from 8 to 2. And then at 2 o'clock, everybody knows that the Pike Jam will start. And there's quite a few things going on in September 20. And my high school reunion will be at the VFW on the 28th.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 2 to 6. So anyway, that's it. And I'll see you next month.
Thank you. Engineering, Mr. Barlow?
We're going to wait till next week, so.
Sounds good. You good?
Oh, you
All
look
right.
so happy today.
Public works, Mr. Wallenstein?
It's time.
Gonna turn it over to Harry, okay?
Richie and I are deferred.
Reggie?
One completion is the bike rack is completely done at Harry Williams Building to also satisfy the green team's requirements on sustainability. Second one was put at the bathrooms at the Vanilla Park. Ms. Pasio will look at putting up the banner as we normally do next week for the yard sale banner.
Appreciate that.
Okay. A lot of construction going on throughout the borough. Scout building, moving along. ERCO's coming in next week to finish off the bathrooms. Had a discussion today on the kitchen itself, on the hood system and all. We might be able to bypass the hood system in lieu of a nice deck out back. So the cost for that will definitely be less. So
Does that mean we won't be able to cook?
No,
Okay.
possibly.
All right.
Just a restriction.
I just remember that was a requirement that they asked for.
It's
What was this that you're talking about?
So to be able to cook, there's certain requirements for fire
Licensing
safety.
and all that,
But if
yeah.
it sounds like there might be a way to change things a little bit.
And this is for what kitchen?
This is the kitchen at the
Scout
Scout
building.
building. So the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts still have availability to cook.
So we don't have a kitchen right now?
You have a kitchen?
There's
Four
a kitchen,
walls, there's
but
nothing in it.
Yeah,
There's nothing in
it's
it.
not done.
Not done yet.
It's not done.
So, but can they still use the building?
Not yet.
No.
No, they haven't turned the building over yet. We'll let you
We still
know.
got work going on.
Still working.
Still got work
Soon,
going on.
Very soon, though. Not, don't hold me to the fire, though, but it's soon.
I'm gonna be in my building before the Scouts are.
Going to be close.
Good.
All right, softball, the joists have been fixed on the second floor. The electrician will be in next week to redo the wiring in it. From there, the soffit, the drop channel will be installed upon completion from the electrician. So we're moving along with that itself. We got the work going on inside the Borough Hall here. A lot going on, a lot more going on, but with the court office, conference room up front, a new doorway, a couple of windows being moved around. So that's all being scheduled now.
Let me just make sure everyone understands what's happening.
Yeah.
Because we're not hearing it all. So because of the shared service with the courts, the back room will only be the judge's chamber and storage for the court. If you remember, when we built the original wall to separate for safety reasons from the tax collector, and then that back wall, we originally had designed a conference room out there. It has been brought to our attention, obviously, all these years, that this room is not always the best for a closed session and things like that. So the idea of having a conference room down there is where council will now have closed session have committee meetings, have interviews, all those things can happen there. Of course, the chief has his back room, but council could use this, for any of those purposes. And the point though is it makes it more convenient for Shelley, for Beth. We're right there for all those kinds of meetings.
You're gonna walk in the office door down the steps, right on the left is gonna be a conference room. That little wall that's there, that's going away, those machines are gonna get moved. That conference room's gonna be right there, going down to the end of the wall, leading to another hallway. Or going down to there. Just picture that kind of square it off.
It's a square concept. And there's a drawing we can put up. The second thing that was mentioned was, for security reasons, a door will be put on the hallway for construction to keep people from going out of court throughout the rest of the
Yeah,
building.
they hang out
So
there.
that's a safety issue, correct, Chief? That's why that's there. And then the court facility will get a window with 3 windows now, so that during a court session, there's going to be 5 personnel, so they'll be able to handle this volume and make it go through. So all this is happening through the shared service agreement with the other 5 towns.
I'm sorry, I didn't
It's a combination of all of us, and some money from DUI, some money from court. I mean, it hasn't all been worked out, we're moving kind of fast, but I trust Shelley will crack them out. Well, everyone's, all the municipalities getting involved, they understand it's a shared cost.
So
Okay, sorry about that, but I don't think everybody knew what you were talking about.
it was just giving you the seat to paint the canvas with all the stuff going on. There's a lot of work going on that way. Coming up, we're already working on the leafers. We just got all the fall stuff to get them going. Before we know it, we'll be raking leaves and everything. Soccer drainage is scheduled for next week, Mayor. So we're putting in the drainage down along the soccer back there. Have all the material.
At the park, another park, that's what you're saying, right?
The bottom field.
Try to move some of that water into
We've got
the,
some of that sand and water, so moving forward on that.
we're gonna give it a shot.
Giving it a try.
How much trench are you gonna dig?
We're gonna probably do 3 fingers off of probably be 100-foot long.
That's nice.
So we'll have 3 fingers going into the creek and 100-foot going almost like probably about 10 feet away from where the soccer line is. So we're not disturbing, plus we have to sprinkle.
So grabbing all that water.
So we'll grab all that, give it 2 fingers. And hopefully we can do it. All right. Mayor Mark, we got an email today from South Jersey Gas. They want to have a Zoom meeting with us
You wanna
regarding
be, you see that, me, you and
paving.
Barry?
So.
You have to be nasty, Mark.
Just so you know, somebody needs to pick a time and a date, check schedule so we can get that going.
Did you see that email? All right,
Are
where
you
do you
back
guys
next
want to
week?
go? I say we meet in person. Meet in person. Because that's why I think the branch should be, if they're not willing to pave what we're asking for, I say they can pave Davis Road, and I don't care if we rip it up again. Right, it'll be nice for all the residents, right? It's
No.
okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they should, and here's the only thing I want from you guys before this meeting. They did all that work years ago, and they haven't paved. No, wasn't it? A year and a half ago that they did all that? When did they do the work on Davis?
That was like,
Right before we started the project.
yeah.
Because they were on my street a year and a half ago.
Yeah, your street was first.
My street was first.
They were on my street about
The
8 months ago.
grass down the road.
Why?
Yeah. All the other paving that was just done down there is what was waiting for 3.5 years.
That was all.
That was all. So that's what was called on it. So,
One quick thing, getting back to the scout building, and the scouts emptied out upstairs again.
Can I make a statement on that? Okay. Anything that's required of the scouts, Mr. Galinsky has asked me to please inform him first, since he is the head of the scouts.
Really?
Yes. And he's head of the scout committee. So he needs to be the one that is told what's going on in there. He knew nothing about it being cleaned out. He actually went over there to find out what they were doing.
Who was
So-
cleaning it out?
The Boy Scouts. So
They didn't tell him?
Yes.
And he's the head?
Yes, they did not tell
So
him.
that doesn't make any sense.
There's no communication there, and they always leave the Girl Scouts out. The Girl Scouts are never involved in anything. So he was there today, right?
Just to clarify, he's been notified since June of needing to get done.
Okay.
We've made numerous phone calls. We've
I
had
assume-
them
And you did
over
talk
there.
to him?
And he-
I believe-
Okay, so, okay, and
Thank you, Mark.
I do believe
And we
you
did
too,
finally
but-
meet with the one troop today, the girls, so they had to rooms that they have to clean out. They're working on it. They'll be back there Saturday.
Okay.
And since we started the project.
So,
Numerous attempts, and then we got on the other day to last Thursday and did a whole dumpster.
okay, so if he still looked ahead and you're sending him letters, can you sort of copy me in on that?
He got a phone call, even as back far as June, saying, hey, it needs to
But
get
can you
done.
copy, I live next door to them and,
You want some defense to be able to say they might talk to them, yes.
yeah, I want to.
Oh, they're saying that we're not talking.
I'll speak with the other reps to make sure
to
they
them
know.
and say, hey,
Mm.
you know, here it is, you know, because I go back and forth with them and, you
They live
know,
right next door to you.
yes,
And directly across the street.
yes. So I would.
And you've been involved, what, because that's a fire issue, right, to get all that stuff cleaned out of
My
there?
son's in the Scouts as well, too, so we
Oh.
went, it needed to be done. I know Harry's been here since June. We kind of took advantage of the parents to get up there and got it.
Good.
There's a lot of disposable stuff that needed.
There was
to
a
be
spill,
done.
and we provided the dumpster to help them out?
Yeah,
Okay.
the coffin one.
Oh, really?
All right, Harry, what else you got?
They're literally still right there now, probably filling the rest of the 30-yarder, probably the second one out of it.
Good.
The other issue is, I talked to Australia today, Mayor, the streetlights along the pike. I was going to send Abby and the other gentleman
Right.
a 30-day notice, and then from there for us to take action and not paying the bills on those lights.
So we have a precedent of that. One thing Jim did do, he got back, I think, close to $17,000, something ridiculous. And these have been broken for years. They charge us $38 a month,
Yes.
just back charging. Okay.
Especially with all the notification emails, all the stuff that we've done.
Yeah, I sent
What's all the lights in Barrington? I don't know. Why they respond? But
Politics.
I drive down Clemens Ridge Road, you know, all the streetlights in Barrington are lit. Get the ones.
It's your department.
We're gonna need to go back to when Joyce first started requesting.
The only other item I had for, to ask us to start with discussion and all is we're talking about a lot of stuff in replacement with the upcoming year and so forth. The trees along the pike. Replace them and everything else, we gotta have guidance on an ordinance or something like that on maintenance, who's responsible, who's doing what with the trees along the pike. Did a lot of,
Well, ironically, Ms. Scaramuzzo's here, and years ago, we could have been a shade tree. We could adopt the shade tree ordinance. But that means that the council, we have to take more responsibility for the trees, because that's what you're getting. If we plant trees in front of those business owners, then the borough has to maintain them. I was one of the people who was against it back then, and I sort of regret it now, because we've lost 20.
Would you like to have a conversation tomorrow while I have you unregret it within 15 minutes?
Yeah, I know, but 16 years ago, where would we be had we been more aggressive with planting trees?
We'd have more down trees.
We'd have more, I know, I've been yelled at by people many times.
And more work to do.
But you hear what Harry's saying, if we replace these trees, which we have every right to do, he's saying.
Who's gonna take care of it?
There's a take care of issue, it's kind of like we plant them and say, you're doing it. Well, let's make sure we have a precedent. We put sidewalks in front of people's properties all the time. They have to maintain their sidewalks, they have to shovel them, they have to fix them if they get broken and things like that. You know, some of the right-of-way is owned by the town, but those people have to cut the grass, so there is a precedent to it. But other towns, for decades now, have leaned towards more control of the trees. But it's an expense, and it becomes part of the budget. You have to start budgeting for tree maintenance and tree replacement.
there's a lot of training.
We had a tough year last year,
Certification.
What's that?
There's a lot, if we maintain, we have to send guys for certification, there's special certification for it, outside of it. They've changed it in the last 2
Well,
years.
it's definitely, it's coming on us.
So this
Anything else?
is something to start with the discussion on. Other than that, we are just gearing around and doing what we gotta do. A lot of painting's going on.
The street sweeper, when's that gonna be back in? Well, you said the street sweeper's been down, the compressor, right?
Yeah, street sweeper's been down because it's an old unit. We're left to Amazon and eBay and try finding parts for it. They're obsolete from the parts house and dealer. So with that, we're lucky we found a part. Now it's just having the mechanic replace it. Unfortunately, we cannot move the machine, so the mechanic has to come to us.
So I did speak to Barrington about this, and what they've done is they hire an outside company to do the entire tank. My experience, no offense, is that the vehicle gets broken all the time,
Yes.
and it's something that we're not capable of maintaining, and doesn't get used enough and things like that, they're required to run the street sweeper. It will make it more difficult for us to not have our own street sweeper because we do have the ice go out, things like that. But I think we ought to look into just subbing it out twice a year, whatever the requirement is.
Requirement is 3 times a year. I actually started getting quotes on it.
Mike Siacco, he's got a guy that he's been using.
With that, I've been getting quotes for 4 contractors to see which we
3
can get
times
for the
a
best
year to
deal.
sweep the streets?
We have to do it once every 4 months.
And the street sweeper is broken.
Right now it is. It's all the time. It's the
All the
biggest.
time.
It's the
But
biggest.
you don't do
Looks like
every
somebody
street though,
street
Harry. You only do certain streets.
I have documentation. Every street in this town has been swept.
Somebody swept Holly
Yes.
Avenue, that's for sure.
And not Oak Street doesn't get done.
Yes, they do. I have the documentation. The next day, if a windstorm, rainstorm leaves, it don't look like it got swept. It happens that
Did
fast.
you fix all the potholes on Oak Avenue there by me?
Don't you drive
Remember
that?
corner?
That's
Remember
gonna,
the people were here last month? Well, did you?
did I get a work order? I wasn't at the meeting, ma'am, I'm sorry. But we have addressed about 20 to 30 potholes on Oak Street itself. I don't know what specific one you're looking at. We put out 6 tons of asphalt 2 weeks ago throughout town.
Yeah, they complain to me that nobody does anything on that street for them.
We have a website with the people can fill out a thing, we have it as a work order that way. That's what we say, please put it on the website or send an email to it. It's comments and concerns. You fill it out for a pothole, it gets put on record, and we take care of it.
Well, they were here in person.
Yeah, and I think Harry did say, we did go down that street. Take a look at it.
I've seen worse.
But the issue we're talking about here is the street sweeper, and I think it's something we have to think about in the future.
Yes.
The new street sweeper costs $300,000?
$335,000, we got the quote yesterday.
And maybe just part of, once we get it in the budget, and it stays in the
Can't we
budget.
just rent one when we want
That's
one?
exactly what I was
That's
just
what
saying.
he's talking about, to do that, yes.
Okay. Anything else there, Harry?
No, progress.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, couple fall ball teams for baseball and softball.
That's all.
And that's about it.
That's nice. Okay.
Question?
Dog park.
Dog park, the ramp has been completed, redone, painted, and with that, we have mulch scheduled to come in next week. We're doing Vanilla Park Playground and the dog park.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
Nice.
Solicitor's report?
I'm good.
Engineers report? You're gonna wait?
Yeah, I've been on vacation since last Tuesday, so I haven't had a chance to do
Shame on you.
a written report. So you will have a written report by next Tuesday. Just a few things that have been happening while I've been gone. There will be a payment application for Lambert for the work on Payne and Harding. There is going to be a payment application for MSP work for the sewer extension project. And I'd like to get a resolution on next week's agenda for a change order number 2 for the dewatering on Caucus Road sewer extension project.
Now, this is what we've already agreed to.
We've already talked to it.
Not-
A little over
not changing.
57,000. It's not changing, it's just documenting what was agreed to.
So everyone knows they drill holes to bring the water out of the ground.
This is all they're functions for.
Yeah, the first change order was when they first hit water on Davis Road. They've hit water along the way, but we made some deductions that we've been able to do all the dewatering for 57.
Is that all because of Otter Branch and all that?
High water table. And we're going 17 feet down in some places.
And we had a lot of rain there for a while. We
Yeah.
had a nice dry
Yeah.
spell.
So I'll work with that. I'm getting her.
And Otter Branch runs along there too.
Nope, get enough of that.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Thank you. Anything else before I open up to the public?
I have a few things.
Oh.
She does.
Yes, I will report on a few things we're working on in departments. But
Take the microphone so we can all.
they're actually mostly, I mean, obviously, we have quite a few environmental and green initiatives that we're working on in the borough right now. Obviously, our huge project right now is the sewer sanitary project that Mark will report on next week. But just to give you some progress as far as the funding goes right now, we are at 31% of our funding. And as of our meeting with the DEP 2 weeks ago, we were exactly at 31% of the project as well. So I assume, I'm guessing, I haven't seen the amount of the payment request for MSP, but I'm guessing by next week we'll be at about 35%.
I haven't seen the video yet.
So just so everybody knows, this is a $6.4 million.
It is.
We know.
It is.
And it's all part of Biden's infrastructure. Amen. We got almost 7 million from there. I love it.
We didn't get 7
We
million.
gotta say thank you.
We didn't get 7 million.
But our inspection did go really well with the DEP. It went well. It was Harry, Mark, and I that met with the DEP. Everybody knows we've been scanning documents in the borough. Also, part of what we're trying to do in going paperless. And what we're planning to do is any software that we're currently not using to where we can go self-service for electronic applications. We're looking at programs right now. Most of what we have right now in administration is already that way. So anything in the borough that is not currently using self-service applications, that we can remove any paper that we have not already removed, we're going to move in that direction. And since we have scanned so many of our documents, that's where we're headed. We want to get as green as possible. And the hybrids that we ordered in 2022 should finally be here next month.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Jeez.
Yes.
I'm so happy.
I know you are. So am I. So am I.
That is the last status that I was given.
Yeah.
3 years.
Yes, it has taken some time.
27.
No.
How many cars are in our parking lot now?
That's all I have.
Okay. Busy day.
Chief, do you have anything else?
Yeah, just real quick, I called the other day with the court starting, I called a meeting with Jackie, the deputy, Andy Viola, Frank Olson, Lieutenant Olson, who I assigned. He's going to be in charge of court. That's one of his now duties. So we just went over security and some ways to tweak things, so we're ready to hit the ground running September 17th. And I think it went well. There's a couple different changes, and I think everything's going to work well. So I'm optimistic that everything will be good with these court mergers and stuff. So we're ready to roll. We'll be ready.
And they're bringing in their own security.
Yeah, yes, one officer from every department, and I had Jackie, the court administrator, send Lieutenant Olson an email of all the liaisons from the different departments and he can contact, so I need you here, and then he's going to give out the assignments because it's our court. We're in charge. So that's how it's going to be.
Nice. Right.
I think the construction councilman should help you too.
He's got the jobs.
You do 6 towns?
I proposed that to the chief.
That was it? Okay, so this portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and address. The new thing about the court, we don't have to unlock this microphone. I found that out. It drives me crazy that it's locked. Starting next month meeting, it's going to be on the other side.
Hello, I'm Catherine Horningburg, 111 East 3rd Avenue, here in Runnemede. I'm also the chairman for the Green Team. Guess what I'm going to talk about? Trees. Okay, so a community petition has been circulated to gather signatures urging the borough to take formal responsibility for tree maintenance along the Black Horse Pike, to ensure consistent care and to improve aesthetics, safety, and environmental issues. The maintenance plan would include regular pruning and soil care, as well as the removal of diseased or dying trees and the replacement with acceptable ones. Storm readiness would include regular checks for hazard before storm season. Funding for such endeavors would involve the exploration of grants and sponsorships to offset maintenance costs. We request the town council consider these proposals to enhance community access to an inviting town center and shopping area. The planting and maintenance of trees improve public spaces, mitigate the heat island effect, and greatly helps with absorption of stormwater. Now, we had 68 signatures. This was computer in a very short time, and Ken sent it out, worked it up, we all worked together. So the background is, during the recent Ask the Mayor night hosted by the Runnemede Chamber of Commerce, the condition of the trees along the Black Horse Pike is a significant topic of discussion. The borough maintains that property owners along the Black Horse Pike are responsible for tree care and maintenance. In contrast, since most of the local businesses do not plant the trees, they believe that the town should maintain the trees planted between the sidewalk and the curb lining the Black Horse Pike. Most are simply unaware who is responsible. This agreement has resulted in neglected trees affecting the safety and appearance of our beloved Runnemede. And this is the thing that will...
And please submit it, and I think council needs to consider this.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, the cost of doing this will be borne on the taxpayers of the town. But I like the idea of the Chamber of Commerce or Reimagine Runnemede supporting it by maybe contributing money towards the purchasing of trees and purchasing of maintenance. Well, but there's also going to be, you know, grants are great one time.
Yes.
It's constant money needs to be put in to maintain it. But I think, you know, please submit it to the clerk, and then we'll do this.
We also plant trees on Caucus Road if you want to take action. Include that as well.
Well, what I told you is when you become a shade tree community, it's not just the Black Horse Pike. It's
the entire.
Yeah.
So we could start, but we're really talking about the whole town at some point.
Yes.
We're talking about street trees.
Big time.
I do have someone also who wants one of the big trees on her property. So.
She wants one?
She wants one desperately.
Good.
She was mad when they took it off. When there was construction on her street and they tore down this huge, beautiful tree.
What street was it?
I don't know, but I can tell you it's Denise
Yeah.
Buzz.
We talked about, last time I did challenge the group to find me 10 people who would like to have trees planted on their properties.
Well, we have
I haven't
one.
seen that list yet.
Well, we have one.
We have one.
We'll start working on that. I have one other one, to be honest with you. I was told to put this through as well.
Is it adversarial or is it advocacy?
This is not adversarial. No, I wouldn't, I don't want that. I don't think people should. Anyway, this is a petition. I got the wrong one.
You trying to get rid of the mayor yet? Because I'll sign it.
I did hear that one.
I'll sign it. Make sure you get it. I'll sign it.
Remember
That would be crazy.
compelled employment.
Petition to council for a name change for the Scout Bowl.
Oh, interesting.
So the Runnemede Green Team, in consultation with other community groups, proposes a name change for the Scout Building to better reflect its role as a community resource. Recommendations for name change include Runnemede Community Center, which we already have a community center on Stead End, to reflect its broader use as a public space. Other names include Runnemede Environmental Center and/or Runnemede Environmental Center and Gathering Space, or Runnemede Gathering Space, I don't know. We recommend an online digital calendar with links to various sites, such as Borough website, Chamber of Commerce, and library for viewing available time slots and submitting reservation requests for the use of the Scout Building. We recommend a standardized digital form for submitting event details and usage compliance. The approval process should include a committee to review and approve requests. A nominal fee with possible waivers should be implemented. Possible waivers may include nonprofits, churches, and community events.
Excuse me, where did this come from?
A group of us met for breakfast a couple Saturdays ago.
So let me just make it clear that the council, the Scout Building basically donated the building to the borough. The borough gave the Scouts primary use of the building. So they actually run the building in that sense. It is a government building, but the Scouts, boys and girls, are the primary occupants of it. So they would be number one. As for naming the building, the Scouts would be the number one people for that part too. Right now, that building was donated by someone.
Joseph King.
I know.
Seriously?
They're conditionally donated.
What's that?
Conditionally donated on them maintaining the primary use of it,
Conditionally.
including name rights.
Yeah, understand, there were conditions to it that don't come to us. So anything would really be the Scouts. while it is a community building in the sense that the borough controls it and owns it, the Scouts are the primary party owners.
Okay.
Now, I don't disagree that the building could possibly be used for additional things, but we have to work it out with the Scouts first. So my response to that, you can say it came directly from me, is they need to talk to the Scouts.
Okie dokie. I do have to make a comment on the issue with Ken and the Runnemede family. So, thank you for helping them. Sustainable Jersey had us form the creative team for creative placement in Runnemede. Creative placement, Ken is the only one doing anything in that area. So I don't see fighting with him, although
He likes to fight.
I know he does, and I told him about it. I said, you have to be sweeter, but he doesn't listen. So anyway, but I have to tell you, the first thing that happened here is when you had the municipal area all changed. I remember one day going down the street and really recognizing him. I said, well, my heart was going boom, boom, boom. Oh, it's beautiful. Our town is starting to finally look nice. Then I started to see some more work. I said, thank God, thank God. People started to do some things. So it's heartening when you start to see things. If things keep going down and degrading and people don't care and
The only thing that we're trying to do is set some type of, at least an organization. I don't even want to use the word standard, but we're just trying to have a policy and procedures that flow smoothly. And it just can't be a free-for-all. While I believe that everything that in Ken's interest, he cares. But we don't, it's not always Ken. We have to remember, there could be other things going on. And there's an argument about, should percentages, how much should be done? Should we have some type of limitations? Because if we came here right now and said we wanted to build a 20-story building on the Black Horse Pike, one aspect is, well, it's their property. They can do whatever they want, build 20 stories. But that's not how it works in local government. The land use is designed to give us some say, to protect everyone on this. Now, the arbitrariness of what looks good and doesn't look good, that gets a little tricky. But do me a favor, drive in other communities. Drive just down into Deptford. If you notice, you have to put brick columns and fences with a lot of landscaping. You have all these rules. I forgot to mention this, since you brought it up, and I hope you don't mind if I take a little bit. We've been negotiating with La Quinta. One of the big sticky points, as I told everyone, was landscaping. The gentleman felt that we shouldn't be imposing our will on landscaping. But where does the lines draw? Where do we start to draw lines? What is acceptable in a community? How high can the grass be? How tall can the buildings be? So, while I'm a free market guy, I believe in trying to be nice. Even though it doesn't always seem that way, it's a balance. But,
May I say one more thing?
Yes.
Only because it's important to everything that's happened. I always get things last minute, where there isn't enough time for the organizations to be able to come in front of you or to be able to advertise, whatever the circumstance may be. And that has been a big problem for everybody trying to get things done. So you really need to think.
La Quinta's an example. They might want to have a special meeting just for them.
Because some people want it their way, and they forget that there's a governing body that they have to come before.
You're correct, but we are the people too.
And you need to think in terms of months,
so
What's good for them is good for us.
We want it good for everyone. Win-win.
Yes.
Win-win. Thank you. You are correct, and that's why I did push back. I didn't mean to be adversarial, but we have to have some rules.
It's like the businesses are.
They want us to fix the trees
It's like the businesses
that are in front of their properties.
The businesses are fighting over trees. Those trees are in front of their property.
Philly Diner maintains their trees.
Cut the trees and cut the bushes.
Blake Gardner's does a phenomenal
Why
job.
should it be put on our residents, because our tax dollars to pay for trees that are in front of the stores?
That's mentioned in the library.
What are the businesses giving to the residents?
Well, maybe what we can think
It's the residents that are giving to the businesses.
Maybe what we can think about doing is saying, if you're a business and you have trees in front of your property, you have to charge a fee, because now we have to have it.
You did hear the gentleman who was here earlier doesn't like fees, and
I know
process.
that. Well, then, I mean,
I know, I don't mean to be,
maybe, you know, sometimes you have to put your foot down.
that's why she yells at me all the time.
Sometimes you have to put your foot down, because if you don't, you'll be.
Well, then help me with these people. Explain that there's a bigger picture than just their perspective.
Yes, you have to say, well, you want that tree dead in front of your property? Or maybe it'll fall on their building, or maybe it'll fall across the street on a car, you know, or kill someone.
And then the current ordinance says that we cite them for having a dead tree in front of their.
And we avoid,
So, yeah, we could say just we're the government, we have to tell you the truth. You know. But anyway, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Michael, you want to talk?
Who's here?
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Dave.
Hi. Lisa Scaramuzzo, 600 Lakeview. A couple of things. So 2 weeks ago, there was an incident that happened on our property. It was inevitable that it was going to happen. So having said that, I reached out to...
What was the incident?
Someone drove on our lawn.
An accident?
No, it was an accident. There was somebody, they were upset and drove on our lawn. No, like nothing, you know, no one got hurt. Everybody was evidently safe. However, that's been our biggest fear since we moved into that house. So my question was to Councilman Kelly.
Well, it could be to all of us.
Yeah, we'll talk, like, what's going to happen now? Are you going to put a flashing light? Or are we just going to let people roll through? So having said that.
Oh, the stop sign, you didn't stop at the stop
They know it's a
sign?
four-way stop.
And somebody tried
But
to...
everybody knows, no one stops.
They roll.
They don't even roll. It sucks, all the above, right. So to that end, I just want to know what attention is going to be paid to it, because then the following week, I sat there for like 45 minutes, just minding my own business, blink, blink. And like over, where is it? Oh, here we easily 25 out of 42 cars did not stop or roll, like right through the four-way.
You know these aren't neighbors, right? These are...
I get it.
These are residents.
Lisa, what time?
What time?
Yep.
Oh, what time was I there, Mom?
Yeah, what time of the day?
I was there from 8:54 to 9:31. And within that time, there was an officer that drove through.
So what's your shop?
And if you want me to describe the officer as he drove by, I can do that. He was handsome.
What's the school bus that speeds down the street? Did you see that one yet?
Well, Patty, if you're saying that, then my question to everybody is, what's going to happen? Because, you know, and that was just, that was after the fact that this particular person, like, went through the stop sign, went on the lawn.
So let me ask you a question.
Fortunately, they didn't hit.
What would
the
you
house.
suggest, Lisa? You sat here.
I sat here, okay, like.
And what would you suggest? Because you know we can't have a police officer sit there.
Monitor more.
We can't have a police officer
I didn't
sit at every
I didn't say
intersection.
sit,
So
I
tell me
said
exactly-
monitor more. That's Chief.
Okay.
Yep, I got you.
Chief Bill, that's all.
Do you think you need anything to protect your home in that corner, though? Were you
I
saying-
mean, we've always thought like.
Because I have a friend too, I could bring a boulder, I have a backhoe, I could drop one off. And
Mr. Caucus, you have a boulder that you want to donate to Scaramuzzo, so you can do that. But I mean, all kidding aside, like, they literally, you know, and I have pictures, because I wasn't home, I was working, so.
up on your grass?
Yeah, like literally, like they were like 2 feet away from either hitting the shrubs, those cute little shrubs, or behind that
Is
is
it
a
gonna be a
wall.
head-on and they kind of...
I don't know how they negotiated, but I do know they went through a stop sign, which is right on the property, and then there's a telephone pole, which is probably 10 feet off, say, the curb, right? So, I mean, they left tire tracks, you know, like listen, my question is, it was inevitable that was gonna happen. I don't know in the past prior, has that happened, but it happened. So that's all I'm saying. So consider what I bring to you. Thank you.
Got it.
So that was my question to you today, Bill.
Okay, yeah, I called
So
you back.
yeah,
I did
thank
call you back.
You did call me
Yeah,
back,
I
guess.
I think Lisa wanted to come and see us.
I really did want to come see it. And then my other thing was, Nick, I spoke to you about the street, right?
I put it on the list, I told her, it's
And I
about 155.
And eventually we'll get.
Lakeview is like every other street, we've got, you know, cracks, and, you know, Harry's got a list of areas
Yeah.
to
But you
fix.
know, too, like, and with all due respect, we had like those burrs that were still there, like the burrs, like the tar sidewalks that are.
Oh, yours, oh, that street's, yeah, done old fashioned.
Yeah, like, isn't it time to like
So
sort
we've
of?
done a little bit on the other side. Didn't we do Hirsch? We fixed Mr. Brooks' area. Did you see that?
Oh, you did, okay, I thought that was privately done.
No, he came
Okay,
here.
this we
Oh,
got.
very good, okay, well, then just continue to bring it around.
We have that.
That's all, I mean, just a continuation.
We did, right? We did Forest, then Ferndale, now we gotta get Oak, and now we gotta get
Okay,
Lakeview.
then
Just keep going.
we can get Lakeview eventually.
Mr. Bishop would love to do all 27
Yeah,
miles.
and then, my other question was, wait a minute, hold on. Let's see that.
Lake cleanup.
Well, you know, to that end, I know we used to do lake cleanups, and I don't know where the people on that.
How many showed up, please?
They don't show up
Tell me how many, it was me and you.
Well, there were months where there was more, but yes, primarily it was the same knuckleheads, right? It was us. But I mean, if these organizations aren't
get
reaching
the
out,
money. Yeah.
and we still give monies to the groups, right?
Okay.
So I don't know how they communicate that, but
How's the fountain look?
the fountain looks great. The fountain looks great. People just continuously stand on that platform.
Yeah, it's never gonna stop.
It's ridiculous.
All the
To that end.
Just put
everything-
signs up, just
Yeah, they're all-
like, we got that no swimming sign. I think
All
that's
kinds
as
of
much as we can
signs.
do
Yeah.
to keep our liability.
So I mean, somebody's gonna take a header, and I told 2 kids last week or 2 weeks ago that, like, no one's gonna hear you if you fall in. Like, our house is the closest.
Yeah.
So you fall in, and then you get sucked up against the gate,
Yeah.
because that's pressure.
Yeah,
And then with all the wood and everything there, and they ha, and then
yeah, they
her,
tell you a few things.
her sister or something proceeded to like threaten me. So
Really?
it's okay, there's a lot going on.
All money's on you.
What's that, money, thank you, it should be, yeah. It was crazy though. And then I think that was it. I think it was, you know, what can be done at that intersection. Because again, there's a lot of people walking there. Everybody wants to fish there, everybody walks there. People, you know, as of the other day, people were like knocking on our door, can we come in your backyard? Like, so I don't know if we're home or not, that people more than likely go in our backyard to fish. Because they want, quote unquote, a platform. And I tried to explain to the youngins that, you know, the blacktop is, that they want to stand on that decking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, the chief heard you.
Yeah, okay, and then the next thing, you called me out earlier, and from what I recall, this shade, the tree shade committee, we were pursuing that.
We were, and I was part of the no.
And I think I was part of the yes.
Yeah, you
And
were.
then I think we minimally we had begun several of the workers in the roads department were pursuing certain little certificates, because we would get points, right? Wasn't it
It
a
was the
point
beginning, this
based?
is a lot of years ago.
Right, this is a lot of years ago, I think it was like point based. And
But we
then-
were nervous about the cost. They were giving us $5,000, but it might have cost us $50,000.
Right, to implement some things.
To do all
Hence
that.
the trees, and the trees were all, and we worked with the engineers on the trees, because it was all part of that redevelopment that we did.
Oh, the Black Horse Pike, the trees were
So
picked
those,
originally,
so
yeah.
those trees were selected with,
With the state, we got the money from the
right,
DOT.
right, so we chose, you know, there was a particular tree.
That was just when I came in, that project was
Right.
ready to finish.
So when people ask, you know, how, why, who, that was the origin of that.
But you have new business owners and they don't, you know, they don't know what to do. And once again,
Well, they
I'm always amazed, just everyone, we're down to not many. I'm always amazed how people want government to do certain things and then don't want government to do other things. I'm just always amazed how they can
Sometimes in the same-
differentiate in the same breath, yes.
Yeah, so I mean.
Leave me alone, but take care of my trees.
Right.
But don't
Well,
raise the tax,
also
don't
they
raise the
understand it was done under the auspices of.
Beautification, it was a great,
Right,
to put the lights in, it was all done to help the Black Horse Pike. It was $500,000 back then, wasn't it?
Right, I remember.
And our tree and our bench is still at the Scouts on the,
It is that little wee
remember how we
building, it
fought
is.
to get that in there?
Yeah.
What do you think the
It's
scout
beautiful,
building
it's
name?
beautiful.
It was, I always thought it was Mr.
I was thinking they were.
No,
How about
no,
the
we
girl,
did- we had a
the girl and
dedication
Boy
to the
Scouts
Scouts.
building?
There's a plaque on it.
How about let's just be honest?
But it could be dedicated, but there could be, but I think the scouts have to.
We had dedicated it again to Mr. Cook. but
And so
it's
many
just
people over the
taken
years have
Scouts
wanted
out.
to like, just move in on that little place and let them have it, like, let them
Well,
have
the
it.
borough now controls it because it is a public place where the
Right.
kids congregate. It has to be safe.
I just say.
And it wasn't safe. It was so bad. I don't know if you know that. It was so
No,
bad.
no,
The
I
Girl
was
Scouts
there.
had to be
We were
moved
in
out.
there all the time.
Just, I say leave it to the negative, the Boys and Girls Scouts, and then just, as other people.
No, to me, it's the Scouts' decision, so. Good to see you. We do start at 6 o'clock on Caucus, you should know that.
6 o'clock?
Yeah.
I just leave my family, good night.
Anyone else wish to speak? Oh, right. I knew he was here for something, but it was good that you came.
So we're just following up, we sent an email out today to some of the members, department heads from the safety committee. We've had a couple incidents from my birthday in the last couple of weeks. We've had 2 weeks, last week we had 3 incidents of arrests out there. No.
You didn't have to bring the boat?
So basically what it ends up being is we're getting reports of kind of the old fashioned, kids jumping off Route 42. What we were to discover, kids are kind of back doing that again, which, wants to say that kids, they're being kids. We were to find out through Green Acres in the back area, it was a bunch of swings, a bunch of platforms,
Saw the pictures.
a bunch of other stuff in there. So we just want to kind of make sure on the safety end of it, we're getting it taken care of, at least on the very.
And I saw the response, Public Works can get rid of it, and then put the signs up is what I saw. Did you see her response?
So, I talked to Jackie again with that, with the recommendation. She said that because it's Borough property, we can probably get away with just putting signs up for no trespassing and swimming. I guess, can we do that without an ordinance? She kind of, up to you, kind of.
Let's do the ordinance anyway, let's do both.
It gets a little more teeth
It's like the little
behind it.
commercial, right? Why not both?
It gets a little more teeth
Okay,
behind it, so
that
if you
is-
had to enforce it, you write something with
So,
it.
yeah, well, so here's what it does. You're exactly right. So what the ordinance would do is it would let us cite them under the ordinance, but if it's juveniles, we can't cite juveniles for ordinances. And I think you expressed in your email, Mrs. Kelly, some of the frustration that goes along with that. And just for the record, I completely agree with you.
Right.
And I think if you look at the things that happen in Gloucester Township down the shore, these restrictions on law enforcement make it a lot more difficult and allow these things to happen.
We're having multiples that know they're not going home to an angry mom and dad.
That's
They're
right.
gonna do it, yeah.
100%. And that's a huge part of it, right?
And that's our biggest thing is they've gotten lucky, but anybody that's actually been in that section there, where there's a lot of debris, it moves extremely fast, and we just want to make sure the borough is being proactive about it before.
100%.
And
look,
resources that are coming out to get these kids.
And everyone's heard
Really?
about
A lot of the calls are coming.
State police started, is that what happened?
State police, Belmar, Gloucester City, Westville.
A lot of the calls originate from 911 calls, because people are seeing the kids going, running on the side of Route 42, coming off. So, you're right.
Is that trespassing on 42?
Well, the state police actually came down this time, and they have pictures of the group of kids that were there
Are
swimming.
they teenagers or?
13.
Where are they from?
From town.
From Runnemede.
Yeah. I know probably,
Could be down.
myself, I probably know 90% of the kids, parents. And, and the one kid, he told us he didn't jump off, but we have reports that he did. And I talked to him and told him how dangerous it was. You get caught in that tide. You go down to Delaware, and your parents will never see you again.
Yeah. The same thing with our backyard. We tell, people ask all the
That's why it's been
time, can we
decades.
fish? Can we fish? And we tell them, no, no, no. And they look at us and we said, if you get caught in that tide, you're done.
just to elaborate a little more, just because there are difficulties with juveniles doesn't mean we shouldn't do that.
Right.
You also look at it from, you've heard me talk about liability a lot tonight, and everyone up here is sick of hearing me talk about it, but that's why you have me. I think having those deterrents in the event that, God forbid, something happens, would serve the borough very well in any subsequent
So
liability.
the last 3 times that we've had this, nobody's put the boats in.
Right.
We're afraid at one time it's going to be something, and we're sitting there like, boy, cried wolf. No one did nothing because it's been going on for so long now.
Yep.
We're talking 3 incidents in 2 weeks. Same kids.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I represent the Pittsburgh School Board, and if you recall last June, as part of the senior scavenger hunt, they were swimming across the lake, got caught in something, and then it was at night and got under and unfortunately passed away 3 days before his high school graduation. So, this is stuff that keeps me up at night. I applaud you guys for being very proactive.
And I'll be quite honest with you,
we can.
the first kid that came out of the woods was my own grandson.
Really?
Yes. So he got started talking to.
I bet.
And
I bet he would prefer the trespassing.
he He was scared when he seen me,
Good.
when he seen me come walking down the trail.
He was at least dry, so.
He was dry, he wasn't the.
Were you guys in fire gear? Were you?
Nah, you don't wear fire gear when you go out.
Okay, rescue is different. Okay.
So the report was a 20-year-old kid, or a 20-year-old in American flag shorts. As soon as we got that report, here comes one of the kids, American flag shorts. But he was 13 years old. 13. But I can tell you right now, these kids did not care, because they honestly knew that nothing could happen to them.
Yeah.
You know, so, and we're concerned for their safety, and they don't get it. They just don't get it. So
We're allowed to contact the parents. If he knows 90%.
One of the things we're kind of for clarity, would we be able to do?
That's deeper conversation.
Us as the department, or even the police department, we put out maybe some public safety messages like, hey, parents.
Fire department, absolutely.
We have
Our water's dangerous, please don't play, that type of thing.
From you guys.
Not necessarily naming names or anything, but.
I called the police, I called the police out there to get their names and addresses, just so now that we have them on record. I can tell you at least 3 of them were the same ones all 3 times. So,
Yep, no, I'm with it.
it's a safety consideration.
So what can we do? We'll do the ordinance, we'll put up the
Take
sign.
stuff down, take the stuff down, like the Tarzan swings, the platforms that they're using.
Oh, yeah.
They got one.
There is fencing on the 42 side, right? There's fencing all along there.
Yeah, it's just a rail.
Oh, it's just just a barrier.
It's that little island at the base of the bridge that's on, they're swimming across and just running up the dirt.
Because they don't have fencing because it's on the other side.
And it's technically, you know, they have a little island
Well,
there.
do we have any relationship with the state police, and you're saying petition them? Because they at least monitor that,
DOT might be able to.
DOT.
When they get, like, we one of the troopers that we dealt with, they stopped up there, they took pictures. It took them about 20 minutes to even realize on a map to figure out where our park was when they got there. They're like, we don't even know where they're from around, because they're not from the area.
The troopers,
Yeah.
they stick the young troopers in Belmar's barracks.
They even said, what's the difference if they swim? Like, you know how much that tide changes? It changes about 8 feet every 6 hours. Like, oh, that's total water.
Maybe use Facebook, the fire company as a public service
We want to
announcement.
put stuff out on Facebook.
Harry's got a question.
Maybe the school.
I got a question for Mayor and Council. Just said Mayor, I did take a picture, selfie, so I did walk. Yeah, I got my steps in.
But you gotta get your steps.
I got my steps in. There's one tree down there that's a nuisance tree. They have all the ropes on it and so forth. That's what I want to make sure. Cut the tree down, that's going to resolve it.
Cut the tree.
Okay, that's going to help, that's going to be one thing. That's where they're entering, swimming across,
Yes.
coming up and going up to the bridge. I don't know what we can actually
Bring
do.
a little machine down there.
Put it up there, but we can't get the machine back there because it's
There's that little
rough.
narrow spot.
Oh, it's too, oh.
It's tight.
Even a small accident.
We were looking at our small one today, trying to get back there. There's a tree in the way, would be taken down.
Even the
It's one of those
side by side.
things, we'd have to backfill a couple areas. So with that, we're just looking at cutting the
Cutting
tree.
it.
We already took half the stuff down, but we can't get up into the tree and all that safely. It's just easy. If we take away the nuisance attraction, that helps out a little bit. Now what's gonna do, it's gonna push them somewhere else, because you take away their toys out of the sandbox, let's find another sandbox.
Can you get traps and beavers and stick them on a tree?
There's a few of them back there, they'll take it on a few. That whole creek, that's actually Beaver Brook that runs that smaller area.
Yes.
And because I take my dog back there all the time, it's probably in the last 4 or 5 years, every couple months was another tree across that. To make it so big, high tide, you don't see that at all. But every once in a while you get a blow tide, you'll see it's just tree after tree, and that, if anybody's in that water.
Just to let you know, the South Jersey's record beaver was taken out of Belmar's side last year at 62 pounds.
Feeds like a
So,
Well, I think we have to try to do something. I think that's the
So, I
argument.
mean-
As soon as we know about something, we have to start figuring
With
out
ours,
how to fix it.
we've made, I mean, we go down there with the boat, people recognize it, people want to know what's going on. We don't want to have that fourth incident that turns out worse.
Yeah,
We
I
didn't
do-
take any precaution with a sign or something.
I do think help is on the way at the state level, because, you know, after Gloucester Township Day, the Assemblyman Hutchinson and Senator Moriarty and Assemblyman Miller have introduced legislation at the next session to give us more ability, and you, my friend, more ability with regard to potentially charging the parents
Yes.
for that, which I think is decades overdue,
Yes.
and especially post-COVID overdue. So, you know, I'm optimistic on that end. I know I was a different district, I was Gloucester Township president, but ours are on board as well, especially Assemblyman Moen has come out in support of that. So I believe that help is on the way, but we should still do what we can at a local level.
Even for this issue, the sign is going to help big time, because you have
some parents, like, they grew up doing it.
Right.
It's a totally different crew.
Because they were 30, you were talking about that. 30, 40 years ago, guys.
To us, the water itself was always a deterrent. We didn't want to go in that water to begin with.
25 years ago.
45 years ago?
Yeah, my old girlfriend's brother drowned there.
And that current there is.
Oh, yeah, it almost took me on.
That's my single biggest fear. Seriously. Spiders.
Easy. I think we got a little bit of a plan, and you know, somebody maybe communicate with the school, make sure they know what's going on, especially if we talk about when they're still in our local school districts, so they seventh graders.
Well, we might do the Coast Guard, they would fall out there about it.
So when we were out there yesterday, there was actually a bridge survey through at the same time. So when we first pulled up, I went to the water, I branched off to get a good view. What you actually was there, since he went further down, made contact with the kids, and made contact with the groups. We looked over it. Because we've had it before, the boat pulls up and then they try to go. There was a guy in the water, he just happened to be the diver for the survey. But we pulled up and saw the head going up and down.
We didn't show, but recent with the kids, we knew it was the kids.
Yeah.
But this time the state police were getting involved. State police weren't.
Yeah, because they can control that, so can the Coast Guard. I've seen them on the script, both of them, so.
So they're responsible, the state police and the Coast Guard, for monitoring our waterway?
They cruise down, I mean,
Probably
some people go past your backyard sometimes.
Right, yeah. So I guess my question is, when we first moved there, or like 20 years ago, whatever, there used to be signage. There used to be like there was a sign that said no wake, because everybody just rips across there. And so there was a no wake sign.
Yeah, that's been gone for a
Remember
while
that?
now.
That was a while now. And then there was also like a green buoy out there, and I don't know whether it's for traffic or, but I do remember.
There was an old channel marker out there, but
Is
that's.
that the channel? I don't know if
So
that.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably like 20 years ago. Yeah, okay.
I don't know if like the Coast Guard is responsible for it or Army Corps of Engineers.
Yeah, that's what we're just
I
talking
wouldn't know, personally.
Well, let's start in the right direction. Get the tree down, get everything cleaned up, put a sign up,
Should we
communicate.
do an ordinance, or would that?
I say we do it, we're gonna do it, so it gives
I'll
them.
put something on our
On this
Facebook
kind of
page.
thing, Mrs. Kelly, if the answer is should we, the question is should we, the answer is yes.
Put it right at the beginning of the park and then the beginning of the trail, so.
On it.
Or at least ahead of it, you know.
Just I asked for somebody to give me the verbiage so I can have the sign made.
Okay.
And I saw the email that Beth, could you just let me know the exact location, because we gotta get specific with these ordinances. If you can do that, I'll take care of everything else.
Thank you.
I mean, you might as well make it the whole green, because there's so many access points. It's the one that's the bad now, that's the target area.
Would it be too soon for me to say we have to do 2 readings and advertise it? No? Okay, just, we cannot cut corners.
All right, anything else? Good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys very much.
See all those
Thank you.
emails.
Thank you, thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? Seeing no one else, is there a motion to close the public portion? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Lomstein, second by Ms. Passio, all in favor?
Aye.
The portion is closed, is there anything else?
No.
Someone make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to close the meeting.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Shapiro, all in favor? We're adjourned at 8:08.